I feel like, okay, it says we're live. And I feel like now that I'm looking at it, my computer's at a weird angle. That's weird. But all right. Well, hello, my dear. Hello, everybody. Hello, all to the romantics at Hart. Best way to spend a Tuesday.
Romance Landia members, citizens.
Everybody, we have to do like some sort of catchphrase for our our club here. So,
well, I mean, I've been calling. I mean, we're picking romance night. Like that is what we're doing. We are picking romance.
We are picking it, and tonight is Scottish Heroes. Woo woo!
Basically, Jamie Fraser appreciation night almost.
Yeah, honestly, if we spend the next 2 hours just talking about Jamie Fraser, I'm fine.
Well, I couldn't resist earlier. I was DMing her all the GIFs, and then she messaged me back with 2, and I was like, here's 5 more.
Yes, I love all those. They're amazing. I was like, oh, Jamie Fraser. Seriously, some of those. I even messaged Angela back and like, some of these should be illegal. I'm sitting at work. I'm like, woo!
Well, then they have the ones with the quotes at the bottom, and he's saying, you're still thinking about that, aren't you? And I'm going, this one's perfect to send her back.
And I sent you the one where it's like you're reading my mind. I'm like, yes.
I know. I was like, I think Outlander is just going to be our first choice. Then we're going to go on to our other Scottish hero.
Yeah. After we talk about, after the first hour of just Jamie Fraser.
Just some Jamie love.
Lady Gizmo, hi, how are you? I'm wearing my Highland dress and tartan headband. That's awesome. I wish there was like a photo feature. You could send us a photo.
I was going to say, that is impressive.
She's here for Scottish night. Hey, DM me on Twitter.
I was gonna say, it reminded me of William Wallace doing like that blue face paint. I kind of just got this image of, oh, we should have done the William Wallace Braveheart blue paint faces.
Yes, that would have been awesome.
that would have been true hardcore dedication to Scottish night.
That would have been. I feel like
a Scottish flag to put on the bookcase or something.
Right? I feel like we didn't do enough for this night. Now that
we have a couple book covers, but I mean, it's not the same as having some sort of, grand gesture.
I do have some book covers. Yes. But that's for later. I know. I feel like I should have like a kilt behind me. Just kidding. Happy to be here. You got me, Lady Gizmo. You got me.
I would have done it, costume party.
If I had like a Scottish kilt costume like that, because I have a lot of like Renaissance type costumes, like corsets and stuff, but nothing like that looks Scottish. I would have totally done it if I had it.
I'm impressed by that. I do have Ravenclaw Harry Potter gear. That's the extent of my cosplay wardrobe.
I have a Harry Potter. I'm trying to get like a Slytherin one ready because I went for Hermione. So I have all this Gryffindor stuff and then I'm sorted into Slytherin. I'm like, okay. Well, it's just like really like when my hair is like down and natural, I was just like, this is my Hermione hair.
I actually didn't realize, because Luna has the blonde hair. That's actually how I've been associating Ravenclaw. I'm like, oh, this works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Luna with the glasses. I mean, I'm going, if I actually wanted to do a costume out of this, I could be Luna Lovegood, and I'd be perfectly happy with that.
That would be awesome.
And Harry Potter, England, UK, Scotland. Hey, it's all related.
Yeah, it is. It is. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we're still on topic, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, it says we have 7 people watching. Who's all here? We have Lady Gizmo. Comment away. Also, if you have any Scottish hero recommendations, put them in the comments and we will shout you out. And I will write it down because I definitely want to read them. I want to read all the Scottish heroes because typically Scottish heroes tend to be like alpha heroes. And we all know how I love my alpha heroes.
I have a prediction. There's a certain Cresley Cole book that I'm pretty sure you're going to give a shout out to tonight.
Pretty sure.
I was making my list up and I was Googling, Scottish heroes, Scottish romances. And I saw the Cresley Cole cover and I'm going, there is a 95% chance Nicole is going to give this one a shout out because I know she loves her alphas.
99.9% chance.
Because as soon as I saw it, I'm going, her Scottish alpha, he's right here for her.
Right here.
I know, this really is like your theme night.
It is. I was looking at, I was on Goodreads looking at all, like, there's like a list, obviously, for everything on Goodreads. You just have to Google it and it'll take you there. And so I was looking at the Scottish hero list, you know, and every time I clicked on one, it was just like Scottish alpha hero or, you know, I was like, yeah, this is... it's a type for me.
Like, he's alpha. Like, even Jamie, whom we love and, you know, has some cinnamon roll qualities, I would still categorize him as alpha. For some reason, alpha Scottish heroes, like, that's just the combination.
It's just goes together. Like, yeah, love it. Yeah, I would say, like, Jamie does have some cinnamon roll tendencies, but he's definitely an alpha. I mean, he fights hard for his woman, and, you know, he kind of, you know, gets his way, but they compromise on a lot of stuff too.
I'd still throw him in the alpha category. I would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's fierce. Fierce.
I was going to say, the TV show, the first season's my favorite. There's that scene where he's running with the sword. You know, that is the alpha.
Yes. Even with the first episode with a dislocated shoulder, he's like, let's go. He's like, I'll throw you over my shoulder if you don't, like, come with me. I'm like, yes, please.
I'm watching my dog try and figure out where to hide his treat.
It's a thing, you know? It's just, like, instinctual. They want to hide their property and bury their bones, but obviously you're in an apartment. You don't have a yard, so.
Yeah, I'm going.
He's finding somewhere in the apartment.
Like, I gave it to him. I mean, what is... Yeah, so if you guys hear any noises in the background, it's my dog Max.
April! Hi, how are you?
April! Oh my goodness, hello! I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while.
I know. I actually, when I posted on Instagram yesterday about tonight, it links to my Facebook. So the picture and the description go to Facebook, and I'm friends with April on Facebook. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad I saw this because I've been spacing lately. I'm like, yeah, I try to post on like all the social medias. So you'll see it, you know, somewhere you'll see it.
I've been trying to be so much better. Because now Instagram lets you do kind of the reminder countdown. So I've been trying to take advantage of that. And then I posted, because again, I mentioned this before we went live, Instagram's being funky with their algorithm. So I posted the announcement, I think, on either Sunday night, early Monday morning for tonight's live stream, because I figured by the time it came back around, people would probably come across it, depending on the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Trying to cheat the system.
Well, I started doing that like that too, like the day before, because I feel like whenever I post things, especially like on movie night when we're on Twitter and we're posting, you know, stuff for movie night, it's always the next day when I see like Romantics at Heart or your tweets or something like that about that. And it's always like 16 hours ago. And I'm like, how about stuff like that's happening now?
I think that actually happened this time around with Ella, because Ella Enchanted, because I didn't see your first like 20 minutes worth of tweets. And we both started at the same time, pressing play at 7 o'clock. And so I felt as if it looked like there was a delay with my responses almost, even though I was right there with you.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that. I was like, I hope she started. I was going to actually DM you, and then you started retweeting my stuff. And I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, I kind of had this moment of like, why was I not seeing this? I don't know. I don't know if that was a space shot Twitter thing or what, but gotta love technology.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, okay, if I post the stuff the day before, if it's being wonky, you know, they'll see it today and it'll be right on time. I was like, I don't want to post it on the day and then you see it tomorrow and be like, oh, I missed it.
Because then you wouldn't get to talk about all the Scottish heroes that you're loving and you would recommend and all the Scottish books that you want to talk about.
I think we all know what we're going to talk about first.
I was going to say, should we just start talking about Outlander and then go from there just so we get this conversation?
I'm just go like petting the book over here, so she's laughing.
I'm really hoping the camera went to you so they could see why I was just staring at you like, oh my god, this is hysterical.
I'm pretending the book is Jamie Fraser.
I'm I'm like, I get the official printout and everything. I have the ebook version. I don't have the physical copy, so you can go caress that book all you want because I don't have one. It's like you got to show it because I don't have the option.
Yes. So I have ebook versions. I have physical copies, and I have audiobook copies of this series.
You mildly like it. That's what you're saying.
It's, you know, so.
Semi-interested, you know, just in case, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I've read the entire series, at least to the ones that are out now. I think the last one was Written in My Own Heart's Blood. The next book, it's been like 5 years. It does have a title. It's called Go Tell the Bees That I Have Gone, but we still don't have a release date for, I think it's number 9.
Yeah. No. She's even said that, Diana Gabald on there, she's even said, I'm a slow writer. It's my process. Just go with it.
Yeah, she says that it takes her a good 5 years to write one of these books. And like, yeah, because they're over 1,000 pages average. And she puts a lot of detail, and her history just in these books are, you know, amazing as well. So I get it, but I'm caught up now. So I would like the next book.
I mean, I will admit, I'm just going to be completely honest. My favorite is the first one of the series. You know, I think for me, that's the pinnacle of the series. The first one is that's Jamie and Claire, because then from there, the things happen. I don't know how spoilery we want to be for people, but there's more time travel, there's more characters, and I'm kind of going, okay, I want to go back to like the main love interests over here.
Right, exactly. I'm the same way. This first one is definitely my favorite. And like Angela said, there are things that happen throughout the series that aren't good.
We're also going to have to throw this out there. Outlander is for mature audiences. I'm going to do like the TV 14, NC 17, because some dark stuff happens. In the first book, we have some dark stuff, but it gets really, really dark later, I feel like.
I think just the whole series, whether it's, you know, since it's, you know, the time period, there's a lot of like rape elements. There's a lot, you know, of, yeah, like sexual assault, war, there's triggering for that. And a lot of things happen that are very dark. And they're described very explicitly, you know, unfortunately. So you kind of, you know, take the good with the bad. But really, what I love about this story is Jamie and Claire. Their love story is just, obviously it transcends time, but they're one of my top OTPs. They're just so great. And then since watching this show as well, the actors that portray Jamie and Claire, they are just amazing together. Their chemistry is just off the charts. They should just be together in real life.
I think the actress just got engaged or something, and so I think all the fans had their hopes dashed.
Yeah. It was like we had hope when they were single, you know, for a while, but now she did just get engaged. So I'm like, yeah.
You ruined my fantasy.
Dang it.
I have a great marriage, but I'm a little upset over here.
a lot upset. Sydney is saying, I stopped on number 3, but it's just because time travel isn't my favorite. I get why people love them, though. Yes, it does. Especially, you know, in 3, there's that weird extra time travel element. Sorry, spoiler alert. I'm going to say it. Spoiler alert. I'm going to say it. Okay?
Yeah. I'm right there with you, because as soon as she said she stopped at number 3, I have to admit, like, after the 3rd one, I was kind of going, okay, like you kept pushing through it. It wasn't exactly the first one. I'm going, oh, flip it. Like I'm flipping the pages. I'm so invested. After that, I'm going, okay, I'm going to persevere. It was a very different reading experience. So I understand. I'm on Sydney's side. I think her and I have very similar tastes.
Yeah.
And your spoiler.
honestly, it was just like, I'm going to read this series, the whole series. And Lady Gizmo, I see your question, and I'm going to get to that. But I see why you stopped at 3, because obviously it's a time travel novel. She goes back in time, and she marries Jamie as kind of a marriage of convenience. They end up falling in love, and she does have opportunities to go back to her time, but she chooses to stay. And so after, yeah, I know, right? That's just,
she loves him so much. She gives us, you know, she's giving up her home time because she wants to stay with Jamie because he's worth it.
And so, this whole time, they know the Battle of Culloden happens, and a lot of the Scottish Highlanders, they die in the Battle of Culloden. So they're trying to stop it, and then unfortunately they don't, because obviously things happen, and there are certain things called pith points, if you know anything about time travel or the theory of relativity, that things are supposed to happen, they happen. No matter what you do to try and change it, Battle of Culloden's going to happen. And so Jaime doesn't want her to stay because it's too dangerous, and she thinks he's going to die. And so she goes back in time, and they're separated for another 20 years. And that's at the very beginning of this series. So I'm like, what is happening here? So I get why a lot of people stop, because you're wondering where can the series go after they've been apart for so long. So, but
I mean, you know how I feel about that, first of all, but I also, she has a daughter. I'm looking at the daughter. She's under my bed trying to bury a street. So she has a daughter that she kind of leaves in her time. It was 1945 when she went back. So add 20 years to it. So I think she was 18 when she left, maybe 19. So add X amount of years, depending on specificity. But she leaves the daughter to go back to Jaime, and I'm going, you just abandoned your child.
Yeah.
That's also a hard pill for me to swallow, because I'm like, I know you love Jaime. I know he's your everything, but at the same time, I'm like, leaving your child. And then the daughter goes back in time, and then because Claire, I mean, it wasn't an easy experience. Again, darkness happens. So then the daughter goes back, and more darkness happens to her, and I'm going, oh, you should have stayed with the daughter in the present.
I know. It's just a lot of bad things happen, to women in that time period, unfortunately, and it's...
You should not be a woman during that time. Especially Outlander, because things will happen to you.
Bad things happen. So Lady Gizmo asked, did you read the books before, during, or after the show came on? Okay. So all three, because I'm going to elaborate. I read the first two early 2000s. I was in high school when I read those. So 2004, 2005. I read the first two.
That is impressive. I'm just going to interject and say, again, darkness stuff. You're reading this when you're in high school.
Yeah. So, and I never picked up the rest of the series. I think probably 5 were out, or 4 were out at that time. I didn't continue on. And then, as years go on, more and more are coming out. And then I saw that Starz was going to make the show. And I'm like, oh, I remember reading that. And I do remember enjoying it. I'm going to reread it. So I reread the first one before season 1 was released. And then last year, I did this epic Outlander series buddy read with my friend Jen, who she sometimes co-hosts on my channel, and then Kelsey over at Hardback Haven. We buddy read the entire series all last year. So I've read the first book 3 times, and then I just continued on. I just continue on with the rest of the series. So yeah, all 3, before, during, and after the show. So, but what this is actually just a really well-known series, because I was looking on Goodreads. And so I'm just looking at the first book right now, but the average rating is 4.22. So it's fairly high out of 692,816 ratings. That is a lot, over 500,000 ratings on these books. I mean, obviously they're very well known. They were popular before the show, and probably the show just skyrocketed, the name Outlander and Diana Gabaldon. So honestly, people know about these books, and it does have high ratings, but there's a mix, of high ratings and low ratings. I feel like you either really enjoy this series or you hate it.
Or you could be like me, who loves the first book and first season. Then you go, okay, now you're leaving your daughter. My interest is now questionable.
Right. It just kind of goes downhill from there.
Again, it's still a good story, but I think it's a little bit more difficult to sort of digest or keep your interest, because you want them to be together as a couple, Jaime and Claire. And so it's hard when they're back together, then they're torn apart. They're back together, then they're torn apart. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. And so after a certain point, you're going, okay, you're either together or you're not. Like that.
Right.
That's, I mean, again, it's almost as if you need something else to ground the narrative. And so unless you really want to learn about Scottish history or then the American, history, they go to America, spoiler. So unless you really want to learn about the history or certain events or, point of views or stuff like that, I mean, I feel as if there has to be another grounding interest aside from the romance narrative, because it's so we're going to be together, torn apart, together, torn apart. So there's going to be something else grounding you to the series.
That is most definitely a plot device that you notice throughout the series, is that they are constantly, torn apart, and it's just they're fighting to get back together. And I don't remember which book it is, maybe 3 or 4. It's definitely later in the series that the first couple of books are all from Claire's point of view. So you get a very narrow vision of what's happening around. The later books in the series, they are from a lot of different points of views. Jamie's, her daughter's love interest, and also a man called Lord John Grey, who is one of Jamie's really good friends. So you get different points of view. You even get more and more, as the story, progresses and people age. And so there are other things that interest you, but obviously the focal point of this series is Jamie and Claire. So sometimes those additional points of view can get kind of like dragged out. And I'm like, can we just get back to like the main narrative?
I have to admit, I used to watch I think it was the first season. I would always watch it when it aired. And then there was an episode, I forget if this was the second or third season. My interest they just lost me, because there was an episode where they were together, they're on this ship, then they get separated, and I'm going, are you kidding me? Because then 3 episodes later they're gonna be back together, and I'm going, I know it's a necessary narrative element to add some more drama and suspense, but I'm going, okay, you can't keep bringing them together just to tear them apart again. I'm like, that's not enough for me.
Yeah, she keeps doing it.
I get annoyed because you want that happily ever after. This is why I'm just going to throw this out there. It's not a romance genre book for me. This is a romance narrative, but it's not a romance genre, because that whole happily ever after is consistently, tossed in the air and hit with a bat.
Right. I could see like the first one being like, there are issues like at the ending of the first book, but they're together.
Yeah.
Not every book ends like that, no. And it's kind of like, but definitely one of the main reasons why I love this series, apart from the couple, is Jamie Fraser. He is amazing. He's so he's just so sweet, so thoughtful, but he can be very very strong and determined when he needs to be. He definitely protects Claire with his life. He takes that oath from his marriage vows very seriously, and he really does anything he can to save her, because she gets into trouble a lot. I'm just gonna put that out there. Claire gets into trouble a lot. But some of the quotes that Jamie, his dialogue is just swoon worthy. So if you like that in your romance, where there's some swoon worthy quotes from your hero, this is definitely a series, because heart melting. Like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, oh.
You understand why Claire gave up her time period to be with him.
Yeah. I'm like, Frank who?
Frank is Claire. Claire's married at the beginning of the story to a man named Frank Randall, because she's Claire Randall. That is her married name. And so when she goes back in time, she's already married. And then she basically abandons the husband to be with Jamie. And you kind of go, I get that. And then she goes back to the husband later, and you're going, no.
Yeah. It's just
it's a convoluted plot. You just got to go with it.
And honestly, I think the show romanticizes the Frank character a little bit too much, because in the book I didn't really get the whole like, I mean, I get, obviously she's married to him and she loves him, but in the show it portrays that a lot more than the book did. He's very, in the show I feel like Frank is very loving, at least in the first season I should say. He's a very loving husband. When she goes missing, quote unquote, he, he doesn't give up, you know, but it's just when she goes back and she's separated from Jamie for 20 years and Frank and her decide to make it work for her daughter's sake, Bree's sake, that's when he turns kind of like, which I don't blame him 100%, but also it's kind of like, he's kind of nasty.
I don't blame him for being upset though. Like
I don't blame him either.
I'm not rooting for them as a couple, but at the same time, I think the book does sort of give you a little bit of distance, so you can root for Claire and Jamie a little bit more. Whereas the show, they gave him quite a bit of, you know, he had quite a few scenes. He had, you know, a lot of dialogue. He was really involved. They referred back to him several times, so you got more of a sense who he was. So you could kind of relate to him. You could empathize, sympathize, and so he was more. He was a flesh and blood person, whereas the characters, again, got distance. You can kind of parse them out in a way. Mm-hmm. I mean, you feel badly for this guy. The wife, she falls in love with this, you know, dreamy, you know, Highlander, and she's off having like this adventure. And meanwhile, he's worried about her. And you get that juxtaposition of her being there and then him looking for her. The show actually would demonstrate that. And you're going, this poor guy. Mm-hmm. And then when he does find her, he's so happy. He's so relieved. You know, he's crying. He's so happy. I mean, and then she says she's pregnant. And he's like, oh my God, he thinks he's going to be a dad. He's so excited. And then he realizes, wait a second, she's been gone over a year. This kid can't be mine. I mean, your heart just goes out to this guy.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that his name is Tobias McKenzie, I think, the actor who plays Frank Randall. He is so good. So good.
I was going to say, like, again, spoiler alert, like, you know, eventually they kill off both of his dual, you know, characters. And I was like, he was one of my favorite actors on the show. Bring him back.
Yeah, he was so good. I really, you know, I enjoy him. I enjoyed him in other things too, but yeah, in this show, he is 100% so good. Sydney's also saying she hates love triangles, so that was something else that she didn't.
Yeah, Sydney and I, we're on the same wavelength. I don't like love triangles either. Those bug me.
I'm honestly surprised I made it to the third one. April's like, I don't feel bad for Frank at all.
When it comes to the show, I do. When it comes to the book, I kind of had that distance because I read the book before I saw the show. Like, I kind of forgot about Frank because we only would get Claire's perspective when she would remember him.
Right.
It was like
Frank.
Yeah, the show would randomly like go back to him to show him in his own time period, looking for her, wanting to find her. And so that gave you more of this poor guy. Meanwhile, she's off with Jamie and, you know, she's out, you know, I mean, she's in love with him at this point. So the show made me have a different reaction than the book, because in the book, we forget about him when Claire does.
Right.
And it was occurred very quickly, actually.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I have a husband. Oh yeah. Let's remember that. I love April. She's like, I don't feel bad for him. Savage. Yeah, mostly in the show. In the book, I didn't because, yeah, obviously.
Well, because it's her perspective. And so it was so funny because she would be falling in love with Jamie. And she's like, oh, yeah, Jamie's so dreamy. Jamie's so this. Oh, but I am married. It was almost as if that would kind of be like tacked on versus, oh, my goodness, I have this inner conflict going into a conversation. It's more of after she's falling in love with Jamie, it's like, oh, yeah. So you yourself as the reader kind of have that reaction as well. So I think that has to do with the writing element of it versus the show.
Right. What I also really love about the show is that some of Jamie's lines are taken like word for word from the book that I loved in the book into the show. And I just love that when they do that. So one in particular, this is obviously already like tabbed from my buddy read. These are all my notes and stuff. But one quote in particular, this is, they just got married, I believe, in this particular chapter. So they're talking about, you know, they're keeping her safe from Jack Randall. That's why, you know, she married Jamie. But, you know, and so he's saying, you are safe, he said firmly. You have my name and my family, my clan, and if necessary, the protection of my body as well. The man will not lay hands on you again while I live. And I'm just like, oh, yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that, right? That scene? Yes. Mm-hmm. Swoon worthy. And when he says the protection on my body, he delivers. He delivers. Yeah, hearts, Lady Gizmo, because
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, there are some shows that were older, like 80s and 90s, that don't have as many GIFs or whatever, GIFs, however you want to say it. And so with Outlander, I feel as if it's the perfect timing for the GIFs because everyone's documenting his lines and putting them into GIFs. And so it's almost as if you go on Tumblr and just type in Jamie Fraser, you'll just see all of the quotes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or you can do the same thing on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I have an Outlander board. Yeah.
It's like we get to document it. Like it's airing at the perfect time. We get to document every single swim-worthy line he has.
Yeah, right. I know. I have an Outlander board just full of Jamie Fraser quotes. I love it. Yeah, most of it, like, I mean, he has even throughout the whole series, you know, even in the later books, he has some great lines. I'm telling you, like Diana Gabaldon, she knows how to write, you know, a swoon-worthy hero. I gotta give her props for that.
Do you like, so I'm going to throw a question at you. Do you like Jamie more than Claire?
Yes, 100%. I didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, I know, because I like him more than Claire as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, she's out of her element in this time period. She's in danger constantly, but she does not help her case at all. She makes some questionable decisions, like, throughout the series. Not even in this first book, but throughout the entire series. Just, like, you get how, like, the time period is. Why are you putting yourself in this situation? Especially in the first book, where he goes to get this information from Horrocks, I think that's how you say the name, about, you know, the man that he didn't really kill. And he's like, I gotta go get this information. You stay here because, you know, we'll be faster to travel, you know. So she's like, obviously doesn't listen because she sees that she's by Craig Nadoon and she totally escapes. And then who catches her? The Redcoats. I'm like, duh, they're looking for you. Stop it. And then she gets taken and almost raped. And then Jamie has to save her and nearly, you know, gets hurt and stuff as well. Questionable is a nice word. Yeah. But then he gets to rescue her, April. Sometimes I was like, Claire, sit your ass down and stop getting into trouble.
I mean, it's one of those things where I understand that you need a catalyst to move the narrative forward. I get it. But I mean, logically, for the time period, she should have just been quiet and kept her head down. Like, for the time period. That's what should have been the case.
Yeah, honestly, I hate saying that. I hate saying that. Like, you should just be, you know, the nice little woman in, you know, the 1700s and just kept your head down. But honestly, yeah, you should have, because then you get captured and almost raped 75 times. That's what happens.
And it's not always almost.
I know, it's not always almost. Sorry to say.
Dark.
Yeah. Dark, trigger warning stuff. Yeah, it's definitely.
Because even when they go to Paris and stuff, she takes on the persona of the witch of, yes, I have knowledge. And she stirs the pot. She doesn't just go with things or learn how to maneuver or manipulate. She's aggressive. She doesn't. I mean, that's the whole thing with the time period. Like, you want to be true to yourself at the same time. Like, don't you want to survive?
Right. I mean, there's a time. Like, yeah, like there's a time for it. Like, yeah, she is like strong. She's very, you know, independent in her time period. You put her out of that element and put her in a time where she doesn't know. I mean, she knows things historically, but she doesn't know how to survive. She doesn't know how to defend herself. And then you make these questionable decisions. And then you wonder why your husband's mad at you now that you got taken and he had to basically risk everybody's life in the clan to rescue you because you made a dumb decision. Like, and you're wondering why he wants to punish you. That did happen.
I mean, like that. I mean, again, the whole thing with Jamie too is the time period. He had to, you know, what was it? Like, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. You can say it.
You don't want to say it? He had to what?
He had to hit her. Like, he had to do like the 20.
He had to punish her.
Yeah.
My dogs are barking. Sorry. But that's basically what husbands did to their wives back then. When they did bad things, they punished them. And is it a good thing? No, it's terrible, but that's just what they did. And she was She was mad. She was livid. And honestly, I laughed at that scene, especially in the show. But I laughed. I was just saying, I was like, this is what happens. You're in a time period that you don't know.
Like, she called him out for it. He never did it again. But at the same time, like, I understood why he was mad at her. Like, I don't justify him hitting her. Like, I don't justify that. I don't, you know, I'm not a fan of that. But she called him out for it. He never did it again. But like, for the time period and the way things played out, I'm going, okay, I can kind of see why you're upset here.
Yeah, he had every right to be upset, you know, but did he have the right to hit her? No, of course not. It's terrible. I would never condone domestic violence. That's just how they handled situations back there. But like you said, they did eventually hash it out. They came to a compromise, and Jamie was just like, maybe that's not how our relationship is supposed to go. You know, we can talk things out. You know, he even said, let there be secrets between us, but let's never lie to each other, you know, and like a man would never do that back in that time period, you know, for him to, you know, do that and to actually seek his wife's opinion before he even knew about the time travel stuff. That's amazing. That's just one of the reasons why Jamie is such a great character.
Yes to everything you just said.
And then Kayla is here. Hi, Kayla. How are you? She is one of my in the Booktube game. She's on Team Dairy with me.
Oh, you two are gonna single-handedly like get those. Your team's gonna win just because of the two of you.
I am. I'm pulling hard for Team Dairy.
I was gonna say I didn't know about the Booktube game, so I feel like if I had, I would have just joined your team, and we already would have been like really far ahead right now.
Right, with the amount you read too. Oh my gosh, yes. She reads more than I do, Kayla.
There was a couple days ago when I was just, it was just, I can't explain it. Where I was just going, okay, this is a long day, and I think I read like 5 books.
Yeah, I was driving to the dunes and then back from the dunes. I read like 4 books, so it was just nothing to do but read when you're driving, you know. So, well, I wasn't driving; my husband was driving because that's.
Well, even then, like I feel the last few nights, I've been going back to sort of those comfort reads where you know the ending, you just want something to relax with after a long day. You're going, these are my books. This is what I want to go back to. So I've been rereading a lot of the same books, and I just move through them so quickly now. I'm going, yeah. So I just read 250 pages here. I just read another 350 there, and that's still one night there.
I love that though. Like when you go back, like. And reread some, especially romance. I love that, you know, rereading like favorite romances. And I'm just like, I know how this ends, but you know, I just gotta get back in there, you know?
Oh, well, you had me rereading the Ruby Dixon books. I've already reread, I think 12 of those in the last like week.
Yeah.
And I throwing that back out there, of the 12, I read a couple of them twice. So like Willow's Beast, I went back and reread that like 2 times in one night.
That's awesome. Kayla has also read those, the Ice Planet Barbarian ones. So
yeah, she's over on Twitter, like high five there, like we're gonna get you through this series.
She's like, Nicole, you're like carrying the team. There's another girl. What's her name? Yanni, I think. She reads a lot too. She read it. Like she reread It by Stephen King. That thing's over 1,000 pages. She read that in like one day. I'm like, girl, bow down.
I didn't know about the Booktube games until I saw your, like, again, Nicole's amazing when she does this, because I learned, because it said Nicole Dairy, and I was like, Nicole, like, what is this? Why is this in your username? Like, what is this? And that's how I found out about it. So I didn't know until everything had already planned out, so.
Honestly, I didn't even know about it until it was like 5 days until it was supposed to start. I'm like, is there still time to sign up? I'm like, yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out.
I know. It's a lot of fun, you know. It's just, I'm kind of competitive, but not really. But I like, you know.
That's the Slytherin in you. That's the Slytherin talking.
Yeah, I gotta be, you know, cunning and get on top. You know, it's really.
Meanwhile, the Ravenclaw and me's like, oh, it's only 9 o'clock. One more book.
One more book is fine.
Oh wait, it's midnight. Oh well, I can still read a novella.
Exactly. That was me last night. I'm like, I really gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up at 6. Kayla's like, oh snap, 5 books. Yeah, she reads. She's a reading machine. She's just.
It's so funny. I don't know if I said this during the live stream when we started or before, but I declared So for Goodreads, I always forget to input books. And so every year I always say like 100, 100, and I always surpass that by a lot. This year I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to have to remember anything. I'm like 50. And and I've already read probably more than that, but I just keep forgetting to input stuff. So I'm like, I will remember to input 50 versus I will read 50 because I just never remember to go into Goodreads and input those numbers. Maybe I wouldn't help you. Maybe with Booktube games, I wouldn't help you because be like, did I read? What did I do?
What did I do? I know.
I don't know which book. It's here somewhere.
I know with Goodreads, you like do like a big like lump. So sometimes I'll get like 50 notifications from you. I'm like. That's
what I do. Like, because I don't remember until, you know, I already have a number of things to input. Because then I go, I'll check it once every so often, like maybe twice a month. I'll go on Goodreads or something. And so in those twice, you know, those 2 occurrences, there's a lot to input. Yeah. And I won't remember everything to input on those 2 occurrences either.
And then I started doing like a reading spreadsheet, and I'm just so like on that one because I love like, you know, the spreadsheet, and I can make graphs and stuff. I'm like so like
I love you so much. I love that.
I can make like pie charts of all my stuff.
That's amazing.
Awesome. April, Nicole, your Facebook post about your husband saying you need to do something with your life because you read so many books made me laugh so hard. Yeah, okay, so conversation with my husband, for those of you that are not friends with me on Facebook. So I'm sitting there reading, obviously. He's playing a game on reading, obviously. He's playing a game on Xbox. And so I had just finished the book. And so when I updated Goodreads, that was when like, you know, my 52 books, it does your like little like, yay, you did your challenge. You know, I was so excited. I took a picture of it like with the like confetti and stuff. Uh-huh. And so I'm like, babe, guess how many books I've read so far this year? And he's like, he doesn't care, but he like indulges me. He's like, 20. And I'm like, it's more than that. And then so he like rolls his eyes and he's like 50, seeing like that's the most astronomical number he could think of just this far in the year. And I'm like, it's more than that. And he's like, geez, you need to do something with your life. Oh, we were laughing so hard. I was dying laughing.
Doing something with your life. That's what I would have said. Reading is the doing versus your Xbox game, which is going to help you exponentially in the future.
Right? And I was like, I do have, you know, it is, you know, a slight addiction buying books and reading books. It is. I'm not, just a little bit, you know, but it could be exponentially worse. Every time he sees me coming home like with another like bag of books from like Goodwill or something, I'm like, it could be drugs. I'm just saying. I have to understand, like, my hobby, especially because I, like, save a lot of money, especially with, like, the Goodwill bargain hunting, you know, it's like, it's not really a whole lot of money.
It could be drugs. You know, as far as, you know, addictions go, I got a good one. It's books.
I was like, honestly, you don't know how good you have it. But yeah, those are the conversations that me and my husband have. Oh, hi, Max.
Max is like, yeah, I'm in for this conversation. There are worse things you can be addicted to.
Right. Hi, Max. And then Kayla is saying pie charts. Yes, pie charts. So on my spreadsheet, I do like the title, obviously, author, genre, what I rated it, and I also do like different things that I track, like if it's a physical book that I own, if it was like a library book, if it was an audio book versus an ebook or a physical book, if it was for a book club, you know, there are different little categories that I track. And so you can take any category and make a pie chart. So you can say in all the books that I read in January, how many owned physical books did I read? And so you can highlight that column and make a pie chart, and you can just see. You can see it.
So I love how you do that, and I can't even remember to input into Goodreads like what book I read, let alone all the subcategories that you have created. I love that.
I'm loving it. I'm like so like as soon as I finish a book, I open my computer and go to my spreadsheet. I'm like do.
I'm like, oh, what time is it? Oh, I got time for 2 more books. Like that's what I do. And then I'm like, what else did I read last night? I forget.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, because I really wanted to just like track. I mostly did it just to track how many physical books that I own that I was reading, because I do read a lot of library books, but I want to get my physical books, like these bad boys behind me, that I haven't read. I want to get them read. So I want to make sure there's something that I can track so I can see exactly how many physical books that I've read.
I honestly don't know how many of these I haven't read at this point. I've read, I think, like 85% of them. But the thing is, at this point, they all look so pretty right where they are. I don't want to move any of them.
Right? I think I'm at a solid half. Like, of all the books that I have, I think I've read half of them.
I mean, when we say books here, when we say physical books, I'm not including my ebook library. That is a whole other, that's a whole other category.
That's a whole other category, which is, I wouldn't say it's more extensive than my physical books, but it's definitely harder to track because I'm not looking at them physically on a shelf. Mm-hmm. But yeah, these are just, I'm just talking physical books.
Yeah. I mean, when I say 85%, I mean the 2 bookcases behind me. I have another book. I have 3 more bookcases that I'm looking at where I'm going, no, because those are from book boxes and other stuff. Those, I mean, also academic books that I'm still trying to get through because some of those are so dry.
Yeah.
Okay, if I can't finish a page, I feel like a win. So there's a few books over there that I still need to read my way through.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel it. Major tangent, but I loved it.
I know. I'm having the best time over here. I'm like, Scottish Heroes, what? We're talking about Jamie. We're talking about books. This works.
We're talking about Jamie. April just put a quote up here by Jamie. It says, "Your face is my heart, Sassenach, and the love of you is my soul." Ah, that's a good quote. Which book is that from? Is that from the first one? Honestly, I feel like I could just go to Goodreads or Pinterest and just go Jamie Fraser quotes, and we could just sit here all night with the Jamie Fraser quotes.
So this feeds back into the whole physical, to be read list over here. So I found, as I was looking for books, I found more books that I wanted to read with Scottish Heroes that I was going to ask people if they had read. But it was just so funny the way you said that, because I'm like, oh, well, I'd like to add these to the collection of books I have not read yet.
I know. I was even looking like at that list of the Scottish Heroes. I was looking at all of them, and I was just like, I think I have that. That cover looks familiar, but I haven't read it yet.
These ones.
These ones.
Well, even then, because I had some of them in my library, and I'm going, I have the Scottish Hero book, but I have not read said Scottish Hero book.
Right. That happens a lot.
Oh, so it wasn't the first book. I would have just thought it was. I love how he calls her that, by the way. I think that's so cute. Like a little term of endearment. Yes,
Sassenach. I love that. Yeah, Drums of Autumn. That's the second book. Second book. No, Dragonfly and Amber is the second book. Drums of Autumn is fourth.
I love how I just forgot about that one. Dragonfly.
Dragonfly and Amber. That's actually probably my least favorite book. Next to Written in My Own Heart's Blood. Written in My Own Heart's Blood felt like it took forever to get through. It took me like an entire month to read Written in My Own Heart's Blood. It was just
meanwhile, you can read books in a day, so that's telling you something.
Yes. It doesn't have to do with like the physical length. I mean, yeah, because that book is a doozy. I mean, honestly, just even the first one is nearly 1,000 pages, but yeah, it was so, they had so many points of views of characters that I didn't care about. But Drums of Autumn. Yeah, that was a good one. I just like when they're all together and happy. That's not often.
In this series, that's a very rare occurrence.
So rare. So rare.
Because even if they all get together, someone's traumatized from something that just happened.
Right. Exactly. A lot of post-traumatic stress.
I mean, it's almost as if she's like, how can I torture my characters today? Oh, right. Did I torture them again? Like, I did that 2 books ago. I can do that to her again.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about just Claire. Jamie as well. He has some post-traumatic stress as well. I'm such an Outlander / Jamie and Claire fan. I have a tattoo on my arm that says, wow, which is what he had engraved on the inside of her wedding ring. That's really cute.
Oh.
That's a hardcore fan right there. I don't have any bookish tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, like, at all. Yeah, give me 1,000.
Either.
I thought that's what it meant. I was like, give me 1,000 kisses, which I love that. Give me 1,000 kisses.
I'm like, I don't have any tattoos either. I'm like, high five. I'm like, I feel like that's a very rare thing to say nowadays because everyone has something almost.
Right? I mean, I would like to get a bookish tattoo, probably something Harry Potter, but I just haven't gone and done it. Seriously, with just the sheer amount that tattoos cost, I'm like, I can buy so many books with that.
I'm reallocating the funds.
Right.
I have more Scottish heroes I need to read. Excuse me. You know, I already know that Harry Potter quote. I need my books.
Kayla's saying she hasn't went down the Outlander rabbit hole yet. Honestly, just watch the show. I'm going to give you 100%. It's very, very, very close. They keep a lot of the important bits that carry the plot in the show. And
they streamlined it.
Yes. Just watch the show. And then you will get to look at Sam Hugin's beautiful face because he plays Jamie Fraser and he is amazing. Fierce. Honestly, it should be illegal. It should be. I love my husband very much.
I was going to say, does Joe know you feel this way? Like, where does he factor into this equation?
I wouldn't say he actively watches, but he sits in the room while I watch Outlander because my sister comes over and we watch Outlander together whenever we can get together on Sundays. But he's in the room and he watches it. Is he invested? No. Kayla's like, oh, good to know. Yeah, just watch the show. Honestly, it has the important bits and it even has some stuff in there that I wouldn't say was in the books, but it needed to be kind of like explained better or like fleshed out, and the show does a really good job of that.
I was gonna say I can't even remember the episode, but Starz, I love how they do this with some of their shows. They'll do an inside the writer's room moment, and so after the episode, they'll give you another 5-minute, inside take on what they did. And I can't remember the episode, but it was based on just one scene in the book, and they made it into an entire episode. And it was just so exquisitely done. I just remember when they said that, I was like, I honestly didn't even remember it was a scene because it felt like its own entity in the way it played out. They just did a superb job with it. I'm going, you were able to create just this narrative out of one scene.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so talented. They have great writers. Their showrunners, just top notch.
Amazing. So good. Yeah, I love that show.
Plus the costumes, her wedding dress. Oh my God.
Yes.
So stunning.
Costume design. Superb.
Throwing that out there too.
Flawless.
You get the descriptions. The show shows you. And you're like, I want that dress all the time.
Her wedding dress, 100%. That is such a gorgeous dress. Really, a lot of her stuff, like the cute little like sweater she wears, in the first season, that was super cute. I'm like, man, I liked, except for like the little like the booty bump thing that goes around your hips and it makes it just look like, a donut. It's basically around your middle. I was like, I could do without that, but like everything else.
She's stunning though, the actress. I'm like, she can pull it off. Like, just leave her alone.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
Max is growling. He's like, I agree with all what you're saying.
Yeah, Max is like, yes, 100%. Oh, but yeah, I'm a little bit behind on the new season, but I definitely want to catch up.
Again, I used to watch when it aired. Now I'm like, I'll probably binge it all one weekend when I'm not feeling well or just want to like relax or put something on in the background or something.
Yeah.
I've reached that level with season 4. I'm like, because now the daughter's there. And again, when you read it and you're like, oh, I know where this is going. I know. Because you also have to be prepared because you know about the darkness. You're like, do I really want to enter this world tonight. No, I'm gonna go read my comfort book over here, not enter the darkness.
Right. I'm gonna go read my happily ever after. Bye. Yeah.
Darkness. I think that's part of why I probably feel the way I do as well. I think that feeds into it because you don't want to live in that world all the time. At least I don't. Because again, they do have the PTSD moments. They do have a lot of things that are going on that are not happy. So you kind of got to be ready to watch the show in a way.
Yeah, especially if you know what's going to happen. If you don't know, it kind of just like hits you in the face and you're like, oh, we're going here. That's nice.
And I'm trying, like, I don't want to give away, I mean.
We've spoiled the crap out of it so far.
So the daughter gets raped when she goes back in time, and then she gets pregnant, and she doesn't know if it's the guy she married or if it's from her rapist. And so that she has to constantly relive it. She's constantly mentioning it, and that's a big part of that book, especially because the child, this is the entire duration of her pregnancy. Is it, whose child is it? And then she actually encounters her rapist again, and then he comes back again later on. I mean, the guy keeps popping up. You're like, we can't escape you or this storyline. And it's, again, I don't want to say like, you don't, it's just hard. You're just always in it.
Yeah. There's some scenes that were really, really difficult to watch. Yes.
I think that's probably why I'm hesitating to like jump into the fourth season, because I know what's going to happen. And I also know, because I was crying when I was reading these books. I'm going, again, you have to be like emotionally prepared for these moments. So that's why I think season 4, I'm going, okay, I know the daughter's going back in time. This is the season where things go really badly for her, and things keep getting bad. Like they keep going from bad to worse to worse. So I think that's why I haven't gotten into season 4 yet, because I know what's going to happen and I know it's not good.
Yeah, and honestly, I think like the moral of these books is like it gets worse before it gets better, unfortunately.
And then it gets better, and then things go worse.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have a child, and then things go wrong for the child, and then she has a child, and then goes wrong for her child. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, how much can go wrong in this family dynasty?
Honestly, and that's just kind of how, the plot is driven. That's how, she just carries this story. Because honestly, what else is there? It's like there's just like war and turmoil and just terrible things that happen. That's how the story progresses, unfortunately. Honestly, I'll just take a book of them like just living life on Fraser's Ridge any day.
I would too. I'd be down for an entire season of that.
Just living happily, just on Fraser's Ridge. Nothing terrible happens. I'm just like, just normal everyday life. I'd be so there for that. I was like, they deserve it.
I think it made me realize why I've kind of lost some of my, steam with the show. Because I know where it's going, and it does have that moral of, it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Like, can we have a petition to have that, just have them be there just an entire episode? Hi, Pudden, hi.
I saw him like paw at the flowers.
I had to mute myself before. He walked away and he had these on his head. I had to like run after him, like, please don't eat the flowers.
I saw you and I'm just like, yeah, we're good. We see when like we mute ourselves. Sometimes that happens when, my dogs just bark constantly.
But that's the thing. He was going behind the bookcase and some of the flowers, he was pulling them off. You guys, you missed the puppy flower debacle.
You missed it. All right, so we have been talking about Outlander for a good almost a good
other Scottish heroes, and aside from Jamie.
We do have other Scottish folks to talk about, not just Jamie, but he is pretty wonderful. So, but let's go ahead. What's your choice here?
Ooh, I'm kicking this off. Okay, so
yeah. I have my pen ready.
Well, I'm probably going to go back to one of our old book club reads, because I actually reread this a couple weeks ago. It was Never Seduce a Scot, which I have renamed in my head Always Seduce a Scot, because I don't understand the title of this book. I just don't. I don't
100%. If you have the, just to always seduce a Scot, always.
I mean, I've renamed it because I don't understand this title. I mentioned this during the book club live stream. The title doesn't go with the book. It just doesn't. But it's a good book. Put
That's
the title
fine.
aside, it's still a good book. So going back to it, I think I picked up more things this time around than I did in the first time. I really love our heroine, Evelyn. She's deaf, and so given the time period, this is not something that's easy. People don't have sign language. It's just not something that's done yet. And so she has a very difficult time. People, instead of realizing she's deaf, they just think she's ignorant and has no ability to understand things. And apparently the dog wants to chime in here. I don't know why. And I think we decided to pronounce his name Graham. Are we sticking with that pronunciation?
For sure, 100%.
So I love the way he treats Evelyn. And so he has some cinnamon roll qualities when he does that because he's so sweet with her. And because, again, the time period, that has some like the Jamie Fraser elements of, okay, he's going to be understanding. He's there for her, putting aside the historical components. So I just love how he is with her. So I think that's why I kind of wanted to shine a little spotlight on him. And so you also read the book. So I'm looking at you now.
Sydney saying she loves it. The third one is her favorite. I only read the first one. I would definitely love to continue on with the series because I did really enjoy it as well. I love that the fact that there's some representation in this book that, our heroine is deaf, and I feel like he figures it out very quickly that she's deaf, and her parents are just like in the dark her entire life. And so the way that he does figure it out, and the way that he is with her, like you said, just finding a way, to communicate. And there's like, no, she's not like stupid. Everyone just thinks like she's daft. And,
Sydney and I are the same person, because that was what I was just going to say with Maya Banks. That was my next thing. Sydney and I, high five.
High five.
I mean, yeah. I think the reason I got going back around. So Ruth Ann Norden, she's one of my like hidden gem finds. Because again, I love my beta heroes, my cinnamon rolls. She has very sweet heroes. So if you want someone who's not an alpha, but just very emotional or in touch with their emotions, she has some heroes for you. And she had a hero who was deaf. So it was almost... it's not, lifting the storyline, but she had a hero who was deaf, and she had kind of a similar storyline of the heroine having to figure out what was wrong, and then she figured out he was deaf and his family hadn't. So it had some overlaps, which made me think of the other one. Then I had to go back and reread the other one because once I had it on my mind, I couldn't get away from it. Once it's in your head, you just got to go back and read that book. So I just loved how he was with her. And I think I was able to really appreciate it this time around because I wasn't, we got to remember this to mention this quote. And so I just fell into the narrative. And I think I read it in one night. And then I picked up another book probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I really loved it too. Like, yes, I do love my alpha heroes. But what I love about alpha heroes is that, they just come off so strong and burly and kind of gruff. And then all of a sudden you get this, their little heroine that comes up and, just kind of is just wrapped around her pinky. I just love that. That melts my heart. That's what I really love about alpha heroes.
It was so funny because this was actually something I was going to mention too. Because I picked up the other book, I've decided to start looking into Maya Banks, and she had the McCabe trilogy, and so the first one of that is In Bed with the Highlander. And so I was just gonna give this one a little star as well. Like, hey, if you want to read some more Scottish from Maya Banks, if you like, I'm gonna start you off with Never Seduce a Scot. Then I'm telling you to pick up this one if you like that one. So I just thought it was another really great Scottish hero because this one was more kind of enemies to lovers. There are a lot of differences, whereas the other one they're thrown together and then they already kind of have emotions, or they're kind of already connected, they're already attracted to one another, and it goes from there, and so it spirals, whereas these two have some things to overcome. So it's a little bit of a different story. And Max is now wondering why your dog's barking. He's looking up at me like, are you barking? And I assure him I am not. So just a little Maya Banks Scottish hero shout out. And you're still muted apparently. So what is your... I don't know if the dogs are still barking for her. So
someone's in front of my house, so that's why they're barking.
Okay, so if y'all want to comment with your Scottish heroes while Nicole is unable to name hers, the dog is barking, I want to know who your favorite Scottish heroes are.
And my husband is home, so why is he just letting this continue?
What is your next pick, my dear?
My next pick, if while we're on shouting out previous reads, we just read a Scottish hero book. If You Dare.
The next one on my list. Thank you very much. But yeah, so why don't you just talk about this one, shall you?
Yeah, If You Dare by Kresley Cole. This is my first dive into Kresley Cole's historical series. I've read her paranormal stuff. She's amazing. And this is about Court. That's who we, and then Analia, Court. His full name is Cortland, but we call him Court. Court and Analia, she is, he is very alpha. I think, in our last live stream, Angela definitely
I had some reservations when it came to him because I love the heroine so much, and when he was treating her poorly, I was, sticking up for my girl, going, "You can't do that."
Yeah. So, our hero and heroine meet because, in the goodness of her heart and herself, he is wounded, and so she, takes him back to her place to fix him up, and then when all of a sudden he just uses his brute strength to try to get revenge on this other person, Pascal, I think his name is, and he's trying to get his way. Let's just say that, and she's just wants him to leave, like constantly. She's asking him, like, oh, okay, well, let's not do this. Like, can you leave? And he's like, no, like, who's gonna make me or whatever, because she lives basically alone with her her servant, which is kind of an elderly gentleman. And she was like, just because I asked you to and I helped you. So that was kind of like a sore spot there with Angela, that he was very kind of, mean to the heroine. But I have to give it to Analia. She gave as good as she got. She definitely defended herself. She wasn't kind of like, the wet blanket and kind of just roll over and took it, his abuse. She definitely gave as good as she got. When I just love some of the scenes where she's trying to escape and he's trying to stop her, and she like physically like hits him, and like, I just love that. I was like, she pretends to be the defenseless woman, and then he gets closer to her, and then she just like wallops him like a girl.
I love that scene so much because at that point he had put her through so much. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, yeah,
yes.
Make sure he's down for the count at that point, because he had just been so terrible to her for so long. I was like, yep, have at it. Hit him in the head with the rock again. You're good.
And the whole reason we find out why that he is mean to her and like pushing her away, even though he is attracted to her, is because there is this curse on his family that is saying, like, if he ever were to love someone, they would die horribly.
I don't think it justifies staying in her home, eating her special food and wine, and I don't think it justifies his actions. I'm throwing that back out there. Just throwing it back out there.
Justification, no, but that's the reason why he's doing it. And that was one of the reasons why it didn't really tip over to the 4-star category for me, is because that whole like mystery curse part was never really like fleshed out in this first book. We had someone say that it's more fleshed out in the second and third books, but it was kind of like just this thing that was in the family, and everyone took it, as, gospel, and no one really explained it in this first book. So I was like, okay, there's just this weird curse that, no one really explains, but everyone believes in. So I love all the Mechgrieve werewolves from Immortals After Dark. I think those are the only Scots I've read about. Yeah, in that series, there is a lot of Scottish.
I was waiting for a certain book. I'm waiting for you to mention a certain book from said series.
From said series? Do you mean A Hunger Like No Other?
Oh, maybe. Just, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's the first book in the series, right?
I think, is it the second?
Second? I have them over here. This is my S's, or not, my C's are in there, so it would be, I have different, my shelves are supposed to be alphabetized. They're not really, but But yeah.
And the thing is too, when you get new books that don't fit in the color scheme, you're going on a different bookcase.
Yeah. That's
hard.
But when your bookcase is already full and then you get new books and you can't fit them in like alphabetically, that's also terrible.
I was going to say, so I think this one's your second pick. Outlander and then this one. That's where my mind was going for you.
I don't think it would be my second pick because I have one that I have a number 2 right after Outlander that is not If You Dare. So
well, yeah, no, not If You Dare by Kirstie Cole. I was waiting for this one to be your second pick, Outlander.
I actually, because we have talked about that series before, so I actually wanted to put some series on here that I haven't talked about, but I know. I
am shocked.
But yeah, that is a good one. Her Immortals After Dark series. Love.
Again, with the very, very, very alpha heroes.
Yes.
Very. I'm throwing a few extra berries in there. Very.
Yeah. Shouting out other books that we've read for Romantics at Heart. That was the second one. So what's your next one, my dear?
Oh, so I was going to throw a contemporary in here. I read this a long, long time ago, so my memory is a little hazy. On Dublin Street by Samantha Young.
That was one of my picks as well.
I was wondering about that because I wasn't sure if you had read it or not. I read this one like years ago, probably when I was like a freshman or sophomore undergrad. I mean, a long time ago. Probably when it first came out even. And so I looked it up. I didn't realize the ratings were so high. And so again, even though my memory's fuzzy, I remember I enjoyed reading it. So it has a 4.23 rating out of, 155,000, 8,000 reviews. I mean, there are a lot of high figures here. So I felt as if I should mention this book and throw a spotlight on it. And since it's one of yours, I'm going to let you finish that train of thought.
Yeah, it was one of mine. It was actually number 5 on my list, but we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Well, I figured to throw in a contemporary because we've been going historicals for the most part.
Right, I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, when I was looking at like the Scottish lists, a lot of them are historical, just because Scottish Highlanders, that's actually a genre in the Romance Landia. But I like some, contemporary Scottish heroes. But so in the book On Dublin Street by Samantha Young, it's new adult. Would we say new adult?
Yeah, because she's kind of college age. So yeah. I'm going to say our heroine's a college age, new adult. We'll go with that.
Nice. And our hero's name is Braden Carmichael. That is his name. So, and then our hero's name is Jocelyn. She goes by Joss. She has some tragic things happen to her family in the States. So after college, she packs up all her stuff and moves to Scotland, and she becomes roommates with sweet girl, love Ellie. And her brother is Braden. So that's how the two hero and the heroine meet. And he is definitely an alpha hero. And honestly, I'm surprised that doesn't Braden in the beginning of this book have a girlfriend already? Angela?
I said I liked it. I didn't say I loved it.
That's true.
My memory was hazy. Like, I read this a long time ago.
But I must say,
the reason she's looking at me, just to fill in the gaps for y'all, I have a thing. My biggest pet peeve is the other woman in romance novels. When you meet the heroine and you're still dating, or you go out with someone else and things happen, I am not okay with that. That is my biggest pet peeve as a reader. And so that is why she gives me that look. And I said I liked it, not that I loved it.
Little caveat. But he does break up with her fairly quickly. So we're good.
Hence the liked it. Hence the liked it. Not
hence the liked it. So this is kind of like, do you know those relationships where it's just basically strictly for convenience? I felt like it was kind of like that. So basically, Braden is used to getting what he wants. He's determined to get Joss into his bed, knowing how skittish she is about entering a relationship. Braden proposes an arrangement that will satisfy their intense attraction without any strings attached. So that is how their relationship starts, quote unquote. It's definitely heavily focused on their attraction and the lust aspect, and then, you know, obviously progresses into feelings of love. So that one was my number 5. I was actually surprised that it got such high ratings as well. I gave it personally 4 stars on Goodreads back when I read it. I read it a long time ago as well.
I think I gave it 3. I think I gave it a 3 or 3.5.
Right. Yeah. I really liked it. Honestly, this is probably could do for a reread because I vaguely remember it, but
I like how we're both mentioning a book. We're like, we're not sure.
like, I do remember enjoying it. I gave it 4 stars.
I do remember the one thing that I remember vividly about this book was their meet cute. She's in this, she goes to take a bath or a shower and she forgets a towel. So she walks out completely naked and there's the brother because he had a key and he let himself in and she didn't know that. And so their meet cute was him seeing her completely naked and her being embarrassed, running for a towel. That just always stayed with me because I'm going, that is the worst meet cute that you can ever have. I mean, like that is the worst, just the absolute worst thing that, you know, you can imagine.
If you could die from secondhand embarrassment, that
would be it. Because I'm still like, what, 7 years later, I'm still like, and that would traumatize me to this day. Like it's still, that's stuck with me because it's just so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so terrible. Just,
oh yeah, I remember that.
That has stayed with me. That is the one scene of that book that just stayed with me.
That is the worst.
It can't really get much worse than that one.
Yeah. I know, how many other books are there in this series?
I think I only remember 3. I think there's a novella though, like 3.5 or something. There's probably more, but I think I stopped after the first handful.
Yeah. I only read the first one. I have the second book, I think, but I never moved on. Probably time for a reread.
I honestly don't remember the second, third, and the novella that I somehow remember existing, but I don't remember the storylines. So yeah. I don't know what that says, but I read them. I don't remember like what the content was, but I remember I read them.
It happens. You know, you read so much.
I was like, you know, that whole in one ear and out the other thing. Like I read it, my eyes saw it, but then it didn't stay in my brain. It just kind of got crumpled up and thrown away.
Well, I feel like when you're trying to put more stuff in your brain, some stuff has to leave, you know? Like it can't all stay in there for some reason.
Like 800 books later, she doesn't remember 2 in particular. Oh, yeah.
Sydney is saying there's like 6.
Yeah, wow. I stopped after I think 3, because there was a novella. Like I don't remember if the novella was like 2.5 or 3.5. There was a novella in there, so I think I only lasted a couple more after that.
Yeah.
But the first one, you know, I gave it a 3, 3.5.
Oh, it's so funny.
What else is on your list?
What else is on my list? Okay, so my number 2 on this list, actually rated number 2 under Jamie Fraser. His name is Angus McKay from the Love at Stake series. His book is Be Still My Vampire Heart. This is book number 3, I want to say. And you meet Angus, 3 or 4. Anyway, you meet Angus in the first book, and he's in charge of the security aspect in the vampire world that this is about. So he's a 500-year-old Scottish hunk, and the heroine's name, her name is Emma, and she is a part of this elite task force called the Stakeout Team, which is basically their objective is to get rid of all the vampires. So that, you know, makes a lot of sense. That's really cute because at first they're like trying to kill each other. So, but what she doesn't know, Emma, is that there are 2 different types of vampires in this world. One that they call the vamps, and the other ones are called the malcontents. The malcontents are the ones that are the evil ones that, you know, kill humans for sport and, you know, all that stuff. So they actually, the good vamps are wanting to get rid of the malcontents as well. So he's trying to say like, hey, we should team up. We should, you know, be together like that, because we're the good guys. They have these other people over here that are terrible that you should really be against. But everything is so black and white for Emma at first, and it's kind of their story of how they're forced to work together. And I just remember this one scene in particular that they become friends first, which is really because they work together, and it's an instant attraction kind of thing. Emma fights it because he's a vamp. And but I remember this one scene in particular. It's towards the end of the book where they are captured together, and the scene is they're trying to starve him to force him to feed on Emma. And it was a really dramatic scene, but it really does clench their relationship, because she realizes that she can trust him because he literally does everything he can to not bite her. So I just thought that scene was really cute, and they're really cute together. I love them all. Happily ever after.
Oh, I haven't read that one. Now I'm like, and adds to the to be read list.
Adds to the to be read list. This book got a 4.22 out of 12,631 rating, so not as well known as some other books on our list, but I gave it 5 stars. It's actually my favorite in this series. So
I'm trying to place that series mentally because I feel as if I read the first one.
How to Marry a Millionaire Vampire?
Probably. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's the first one.
That sounds about right. It was one of those, I just remember it was one of those funky titles where you're like, yep.
That one. Yeah, the first one was good. I gave it a 4 stars. The second one was kind of like...
Read the comment. Read the comment. I love it.
The name Angus is such a boner killer. Caleb! Oh, the Angus.
Well, in Outlander, Marriage, he's not exact. Like, the character fits the name a little bit more.
Oh, that's Angus. Well, now I'm just going to think of that every time I see the name Angus.
And now you're down to 4 stars.
And now we're down to 4 stars. He's a really nice guy. He has a great personality.
His mommy loves him.
Right? But he's really great. His name could be better. I think he just has like a very typical like Scottish name, like Angus McKay. That is like if you think like Scots, that is it.
Like, and where is his kilt?
He does wear a kilt. Yes, in the book.
Right, you just assume like the next thing is like, and you gave him the Scottish flag, and their animal is the unicorn. Like, is it running by? Like, you just go with it. He's not Scottish.
Go with it. So yeah, first book I enjoyed, 4 stars. Second book was kind of like in left field. Didn't really enjoy it much, so kind of you have to like suffer through that one to get to the gold. All right, what's your next one, my dear?
So my next pick is going to be Highland Surrender by Tracy Brogan. I think I mentioned this book before a long time ago for another live stream. I forget why. I don't remember what the theme night was, but I'm pretty sure I've talked about this book before. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times now. It took me a little while to warm up to our hero, but now I do have an affinity for him. And so this is kind of, it's got a kind of Romeo and Juliet setup where they're warring families, and these 2 are supposed to marry to unite the clans. So Fiona Sinclair, and then we have Miles Campbell. So these 2 are being forced to marry, and so they meet on their wedding day. And so Fiona has no interest in marrying him, and once he sees how pretty she is, he's okay with marriage, even though he previously wanted to marry, I think, a French, there was a French woman involved at one point where he, again, other women, it's not involved in the story, she's just briefly mentioned. But the point is, neither one of them wanted to really get married at that time. So he sees her and he's going, okay, she's pretty. This is for the best, like, this is for the family, for the clans. Meanwhile, she's looking at him daggers. She just doesn't want to be there. So even though he's willing to sort of go with it, she's not. And the only reason she's going through with the marriage is to save her sister, because if she doesn't marry him, then her younger sister, who's 13, is supposed to take the place and marry him. So she wants to protect her younger sister. So she's doing the kind older sister thing. She loves her. And one of the turning points for me with their relationship is when he realizes this is why she married him. That's kind of a moment for him when he realizes, oh, she has such a kind heart. So the younger sister is a very important factor in this book. So basically, they get married first few pages, marriage happens ASAP, and then it's a matter of them trying to figure out their feelings for one another. And so again, she doesn't want to be married to this guy. And that becomes very apparent very, very quickly. And so it's interesting to see how they kind of butt heads and how they eventually find common ground. So I'm recommending Highland Surrender. And for you, because I know you like the Goodreads stats, it has a 389 rating out of 6,700 ratings and 432 reviews. I would give it like a 4. I'll give it 4 stars. I'll give it that.
Nice. That sounds really, I love that. I love the, I love that, just that plot, you know, it's just like, yes, it's kind of like a marriage, like she's forced into the marriage because, you know, it's either her or her younger sister. So that's really, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think part of why I like it is that there's more to, it's very well developed because there's still family drama. So even though these two have, even when they find common ground, things come back around because her family's still mad at his family. So then even once they do find, you know, a way to have a relationship with one another, things are still coming at them with other variables. And there's another mystery of what's going on with Fiona's mother, because her family thinks that Miles's father killed her, even though he says he didn't. So they have to figure out what happened to the mother. So there's a lot going on. So there's a lot of moving pieces and parts. And even her brother has his own sort of side romance narrative. So I enjoyed it.
That sounds awesome. I definitely, you know, and also like I do all the We're Picking romances. I'm writing down all the books that were mentioned, and I'm going to type out, you know, a master list and post it. So if you're like in and out, like sometimes you can't watch the whole live stream, you'll have a whole list compiled for you. No worries. I got your back. So my next pick is the Devil of the Highlands series by, sorry if that blinded you, Lindsay Sands. This is the first book, and this is a 4.07 out of 9,804 ratings. I gave it 4 stars. I have read the entire series. The second one is called Taming of the Highland Bride, and the third book is called The Hellion and the Highlander. So this first book, our Scottish hero, his name is Cullen, and he is the laird of the clan Donachey, and he has a reputation as being, quote unquote, the devil. There is kind of an extra element into this book other than the romance. It's kind of like a murder mystery. There are, you know, suspicious deaths that have happened that are fallen on the laird. He doesn't do anything to kind of refute those rumors. So he does get a reputation for being ruthless and murderous. And the heroine, her name is, it starts with an E. Evelyn, that is her name. Her father has died. Her brother is off in the Crusades. She is living with her evil stepmother. So it kind of has like that kind of Cinderella aspect to it. And her stepmother is going to marry her off to this evil Cullen laird just to ruin her life, get rid of her, and come to find out that he's not at all evil. And she finds this out fairly quickly, that something else must have happened. He couldn't have, you know, because I think it was his father, uncle, and also his first wife that were suspiciously killed. And so she kind of becomes like a little cozy mystery sleuther and trying to find out like what really happened, because, you know, she knows like just how he is. He can't be this, you know, evil killer that everyone thinks that he is. So I really liked that aspect of this book, because it's more than just the romance. You get, you know, the murder mystery and the sleuthing, and I really enjoyed it. Devil of the Highlands.
Adds to be read list, because I had another Lindsay Sands book and I was like, I might as well not mention this because we're covering that. I was like cleaning up my list.
And honestly, when I was writing this list, I thought you would really like that, because I know we also really like cozy mysteries, and I feel like this was kind of like a romance historical mixed with a cozy mystery, because she's trying to find out like who done it.
Well, Well, I love it when there's more. I mean, again, I love the romance narrative. Like that's what we, that's why we read this. You want the romance narrative, but I think it helps when there's something else going on with the storyline to keep you interested. So it's not just, oh, I love you. Oh, am I not in love with you? There's more to it than just the two characters. So I like having a grounding, and just a grounding element of some sort almost, even if it's like family drama or there's some like there's another variable or something. So I like that. That's I'm like adds to be read list.
Yeah.
It's like, and we have the books that haven't been read, but still wants to read this on to be read list.
Right.
I was trying to figure out the next one. So, yeah, y'all know how I feel about Miss Eloisa James. She can do no wrong. I don't know if you've read this one. Pleasure for Pleasure.
Pleasure. No, it doesn't sound. I've read her pleasure series, like it's like Potent Pleasures or.
This is from the Essex Sisters, ESSEX, Essex Sisters. This is the fourth one. So I think I kind of fell into this book because of the heroine. I think this was actually the only one I read in this series. So basically, Josie, she's one of those women, she does not like her time period. She's very forward-thinking. She has that feminist quality. She doesn't like being forced to wear the corsets, and she just wants to get out of her kind of shell. And so she goes to the races, and while she's at the races, she decides she wants to gamble, and then she realizes she has no guardian, and then she meets a very attractive Scottish man and shares a kiss with him. And unfortunately for her, people see her share this kiss, and now she has to marry him.
As one would.
Yeah, they can't kiss a Scottish guy behind a stable. That's just not done. Therefore, you got to get married. And so she doesn't want to get married. That's not why she tried to escape her corset and go to the races. And yet she's married. And so that is what kicks off our story. The two are forced to marriage. And so I like the line, can a marriage forced by stuffy convention, I like how it says stuffy convention, and unwilling desire, again, they like don't want to be together, become the match of the season. It's like, hey, we kissed because we're attracted, but we really didn't want to be stuck together for all eternity.
All right.
I just like, there's someone about that where you're going, this is going to be interesting. So Eloisa James, she can do no wrong. This has 3.94 rating out of 6,934 ratings and 306 reviews. So it's one of her lesser known books. And for some reason, I can't, his name is it the Earl of Marne? I can't remember the guy's name for a second. Like, I remember her name's Josie, but now I'm forgetting our hero, and that's our theme discussion, heroes. So I feel badly, but pleasure.
Pleasure for pleasure. Let's go. And I love Eloisa James too, so I'm immediately gonna go read that because, like you said, Eloisa James can do no wrong. She is a goddess. Bow down to the queen. Okay, let's see. Even then, I just remember finishing the book and just enjoying it. There's just, again, I haven't read this in a very long time, but I still just had that, I had a very positive reaction when I saw the title. I'm going, oh yeah, that book, I enjoyed that one. When I saw it on the Scottish list that I was Googling, going, yes, that one, I gotta mention that one, because I just remember I enjoyed it. Because again, Eloisa James, just gotta throw it on the list. And I look like I lost you. Well, I'm trying to figure out this the hero's name because I would think it would be in the description.
I can't remember his name. I just remember he was Scottish, and I remember her name was Josie.
Well, so I was trying to look and see in a review, maybe his name is in there, but nope. All right, well,
my iPad is here with the Kindle app somewhere, so I can always pull it up for you eventually.
Alrighty, so my next one, hold on, let me get my list straightened out here. Let me get my list straightened out. Okay, so I do have a physical copy of this book. I didn't grab it because I don't know why. I just didn't. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is called Honor's Splendor by Julie Garwood, and our hero's name is Duncan, and average rating 4.22 out of 25,381 ratings. I gave this 4 stars, and this does take place, it's a medieval romance. It takes place in England, but our hero is Scottish. So it's kind of, I'm getting there. Okay, so the classic medieval romance from New York Times bestseller Julie Garwood is a fan favorite. A beautiful lady needs rescue from a knight in shining armor and gets an alpha warrior instead. Of course, we I love my alpha heroes. So here, heroine's name is Madeline. She is used and abused by her brother, and she is captured by Duncan because they're like warring, they're enemies. So he's like, I'm gonna steal his sister to kind of get like the one up in the battle, and she's like, hallelujah, I wanted to leave here anyway, so let's just go. But
I love how it's like, am I gonna kidnap her? No, I'll come willingly. Like, do you need a ladder to help get me down? Yeah, I'm coming.
Do you need a ladder to help get me down? Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, seriously, she's like, let's go. I want to get out of here. Like, he is not very nice. So, so he actually, obviously, during her capture, which is not really a capture, they fall in love with each other. And he's the powerful wolf. That's like, they call him the wolf, though. That's really cool. But I really liked this one. Honestly, I haven't read that. I read this a really long time ago, and it's probably due for a reread. But I like Julie Garwood. She is, if you're looking for some romance that's probably not as steamy, like if you don't really like that in your romance, Julie Garwood is a really good one to like start with if you like historical, because she's not as explicit, I should say, as other authors. So that's my number 4 is, was number 4 on my list. And I'm really mad that I didn't get the book, and she's in the G section in the other room, so I can't even go get it. Oh.
So have you read An English Bride in Scotland? I just realized I got rid of one Lindsay Sands book, and I had this one listed as well. So I was curious if you've read this one.
I have it, but I have not read it.
So we might as well just go down the Lindsay Sands route again. I thought because I just took one of the books, because I always print off their book blurbs on a page, and I got rid of 1 or 2 of her pages, and then I was like, hey, there's a 3rd one here. So apparently I just really like her Scotland books. So this one, I just remember I really liked the heroine. Her name is Annabelle, and she wants to become a nun, or she studied all of her life to become a nun. And so this is what she thinks is going to be her life, and she's accepted that, and she's happy with that. And so she has no training to be a wife for the historical time period. And so her mother comes to take her from the abbey saying, hey, your sister ran away. She's supposed to be marrying this guy. You get to marry him instead. So the woman who thinks she's going to become a nun is now going to become a wife. And so her world is just totally thrown up, she has no idea what's going on now. She's not trained to run a household. And so there's a lot of sort of comedy of errors almost. It has a lot of those because she doesn't know what she's doing. And so she has to learn as she's supposed to run a household. And so I'm like, his name is Ross McKay. I love the McKay. It's very Scottish. He has kind of that Jamie vibe of, I'm going to protect her. Because there's eventually drama. She's threatened. He wants to protect her, and he's just so protective of her and so sweet when it comes to that. You're just going, oh, it's like you didn't want to marry her, but you fell in love with her, and now you're there for her. It's just so cute. Doesn't take long because again, I feel as if there's a pattern to my books tonight of these people didn't want to get married, but once they're married, what happened?
Right.
Well, I feel like I just noticed that. I'm like, and this is another one of these two didn't know each other. Day of the marriage, see each other, like each other, but then they have to establish a bond and move on from there. So Lindsay Sands, I think we should just give her the Scotland shout out at this point.
Yeah, she has like 3 different like Scottish Highlanders series, I think. Yeah, definitely. So I love Lindsay Sands. She's great. Her paranormal stuff, her historical stuff.
I printed off a couple of these. I haven't read these ones, but I was curious if you had, because this title caught my attention. So I Married a Highlander by Kate McKinley. Have you read this?
No.
And then Some Like It Scott by Susan Enoch. Have you read that one?
I haven't read that one, no, but I love that title. I love that.
And so, again, I love Tessa Dare, so I don't know why I haven't read this, but When a Scot Ties the Knot.
I did see that one too. Someone has been reading a lot of Tessa Dare, which that came up on my Goodreads, so I'm like, I want to read that.
I don't know. I mean, I saw these. I mean, I love Tessa Dare, and so when I saw these titles, I'm going, these are some very witty puns over here. These are very clever, and they sound intriguing. I was like, I better ask her and highlight these if other people have read them or know of something similar. Because again, I feel as if I need to now read more Scottish heroes. So.
Yeah, for sure. I know, like just going through the list on Goodreads, I'm just like, yep, I want to read that one. I want to read that one. Sydney's saying When a Scot Ties the Knot is so good.
I actually think I convinced myself I read it because I have the ebook and I think it's so far down in my library that I convinced myself at some point I had read it, and then I think I realized in the last couple of days I had not when I was trying to prepare for tonight's live stream. But I think I kind of fell in love with her because she has the Duchess deal and so many other great books. And then when I saw that, I'm like, I thought I had read this, and I realized no, I haven't. So now I need to.
You said When a Scot Ties the Knot, Some Like It Scott. What was the first one?
I have to go get my list again. So Some Like It Scott, When a Scot Ties the Knot, and then So I Married a Highlander.
So I Married a Highlander.
Basically, I love the summary of this. It has like the 4 points. It's like, a lady should never leave a note behind when explaining her intentions. Number 2, if by chance the note has been left behind, a lady must be prepared to be hunted down and have a ceremony thwarted. Number 3, in such a case, seeking consolation with a night of excessive drinking will be tempting, but ill-advised. And lastly, a lady must never, under any circumstances, wake up married to a deliciously handsome Highlander.
Deliciously. I think you mean like never, always. But I get those words confused. Cindy loves Tessa Dare. When a Scot Ties the Knot is the best of the Castle Ever After series. Oh, it's a whole series. I know which Tessa Dare books I'm going to start with. For sure.
Well, I mean, she's having a rough day of it, so if we can give Tessa Dare some love, you know, give her some love.
Tessa Dare, Courtney Milan, Gina Showalter, a lot of Romancelandia authors are, yeah, being plagiarized. I don't know if everybody is in on that. That is the latest terrible thing that's happening in Romancelandia. Ugh, terrible. I did share, I retweeted someone else's tweet. This person has a running list of authors that were plagiarized by this person and links to their work. Like if you want to support those authors that, you know, that are being victimized by the plagiarism, I did retweet it. So check it out. It's a very extensive list of,
yeah.
And honestly, it's what she's saying is just like it was her ghostwriter's fault. So she doesn't even, it's like, that's not really an excuse, but it's just terrible, terrible things.
It's been a long day in Romancelandia.
It's been a long day.
Long day. And Tessa Dare, unfortunately, was dragged into it. So giving her some love and shout out tonight is just, gotta give it to her. Just
yeah.
Let him live.
Yeah, I first found out about it following Courtney Milan's Twitter, because she's actually seeking, I know a lot of these authors that are being victimized of this, they're seeking legal, you know, action, but you know, it's,
yeah, she's very outspoken about it.
Yeah, it's just not good at all.
So we gotta send them some shout outs and love tonight.
yes, all the loves. So my last book that I have on my list, it's not my favorite. I did enjoy it. There are issues with this book, but so it's Beyond the Highland Mist by Karen Marie Moning. And then this is the first one in this series. And our hero's name is Hawk, or Sid Hawk James Lyon Douglas. That's a mouthful. And this is almost kind of like an Outlander story. Our heroine travels back in time to the Scottish Highlands and gets herself, you know, in some predicament where she has to marry a Scottish Highlander. So, but it's obviously, it's not as chunky as Outlander. And I really wanted to continue on with this series, but with this first book, I know this they say like this is like the worst in the series, and it just gets better from as you continue on. And I love Adrian. That is our heroine's name. She is obviously not from the medieval Scotland, so she has a very, 21st century mentality where she is independent and strong, and being forced into the situation, she's very outspoken. So I really like her and her sass, and but this is there are some issues with this book. The hero is a very alpha, probably almost like If You Dare alpha. So there's that little caveat. He doesn't listen when, the heroine says no. There is, it's like, oh, so you don't want to be with me, so I'll just lock you in this room until you say yes, kind of thing. So they're, yeah, how lovely, right?
That's just what a relationship is built off.
Right. So, yes, there are issues. The last half of the book is by far better. I mean, you kind of have to drag yourself through the muck before you get to the diamond, but so I did enjoy this. I gave it a 3 stars. The average rating is 3.98 out of 60,337 ratings. So not the best of the bunch, which is why I say this for last. It's at the bottom.
Well then.
Well. That is it for me. That is my list. Do you have any more you want to talk about?
I have one other book.
Ooh,
and
okay.
So and I was like, we have perfect timing. Basically, one of the other reasons why I remembered it was because she's actually semi-local. I live in DC, and so I actually met the author, Lori Ann Bailey, at One More Page Books. She did a signing there with 2 other authors, and so that is how I found out about her book. They were doing a romance panel, and so she was just super sweet and very pleasant, and I loved her inscription. It just made me smile. It says, "May the magic of Scotland always live in your heart." And I was like,
aww.
Like, that is kind of adorable.
Yeah.
So, she wrote that, and she has such nice penmanship. I know that's a very little tangent moment, but I just thought, she's like, the magic of Scotland should always live in your heart. Like, may it always live in your heart. I'm like, I don't know. I just gave me like little vibes of Outlander, like, oh, I will live there with magic. I just thought that was so sweet. And so I wanted to give this one. This is, I think, one of 3, I believe. I could be wrong. This is the first one in the series, Highland Deception. And so again, apparently I'm going with this like, people in Scotland don't want to get married and they shouldn't be around each other vibe tonight. So Maggie Murray is fleeing a political marriage. She's supposed to be betrothed to this evil man. She wants nothing to do with him. And so in order to escape getting married, she decides to pose as a maid. Meanwhile, Lachlan Cameron. No.
Matt's getting in trouble.
I'm going to mute myself for a second.
No problem. Sydney, you saying it seems to be getting longer and longer too, which is insane. Do you mean, I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, the list of copyrighted, the people who are getting copyrighted.
Yes, it's actually a lot of authors were like posting pictures of like their work and then her work side by side, and it's literally like verbatim. And I was like, wow, like they didn't even try to like move these around or like synonyms or anything. Nope, word for word. So yeah.
And all is right in the world of Max. He so I have my handcrafted flowers that my little paper flowers that I handmade, and this is a new strand of fake flowers. And so the other one broke, and there were beads, and I thought I grabbed all the beads, and all of a sudden I heard a bead rolling on the floor, and the little dog was sniffing at it, and I did not want my little baby to choke on a bead. So hence the emergency face I made. But all is well. I have the bead. We are good.
We're good.
We're good. I think that was the last bead. I thought I had already grabbed all of them, but apparently one escaped me and is now gone. So we're good.
Oh, she's saying yes. The copy, I know the copy paste Chris thing. That's the hashtag going on. Oh yeah, terrible.
It's like maybe there's a Scotland thing of like it's gone from bad to worse, like with that copyright thing. Mm-hmm. It's just not good. Anyway, Highland Deception by Lori Ann Bailey. I keep wanting to say Ann Lori. That's why I keep looking at the title. I don't know why. But I like the way the font, Lori Ann, looks pretty. Anywho, so Maggie's fleeing her potentially political abusive marriage, and she meets Lachlan. This guy is just over relationships. He's done with the drama. And then he meets our heroine, and he's trying to figure out if she's worth the trouble. And the only issue is she's pretending to be a maid. And so he does not know her real name. He does not know who she really is. And so that is a blockade in the relationship because she's trying to escape an abusive marriage. So she doesn't really want to be tied down. He doesn't really want to be tied down. But yet they really like one another. So what are they to do? Hence. That's all I have.
We did good. Yay.
I'm proud of us. We did our little Jamie Fraser Love Fest, but we have some other books in here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how we talked about literally like 10 other books in the hour that we talked about Jamie Fraser. Oh, it's so funny.
And yet our conversation about him could have been longer.
It could have been. I felt like I cut myself too short and I could just talk about Jamie Fraser. I do want to catch up on the new season though. I do.
I think once I'm in the right mentality, I'll be okay. But I got to be in the mood to watch it. I think I know now why I hesitate to watch the new season. You made me kind of have a realization about myself tonight.
Yeah. I feel like every time we do a live stream, like someone's getting a realization about themselves.
You learn your love of alpha heroes. I learn about like why I'm not watching the current season of Outlander. It's just we're a very self-aware romance reader group.
We are. We're learning things. We learn things every day, you know? Lady Gizmo, you're welcome. I will type all of this out and I will put the list in the comment section once this video does the thing. And then also in our Goodreads group. If you're not a part of our Goodreads group, you should be. I know I invited some people, but if you want to be a part of our Goodreads group, just type Romantics at Heart. Honestly, I probably can find it for you and put a link in. And I was doing some updating on the Goodreads group today. So I was adding, obviously, the event and adding some books on our bookshelves that we read. So,
oh, you're so good.
Thanks. We all know that Angela is the social media queen. So sometimes I, go in there and do little stuff.
And you're more than welcome to. You have my blessing, permission, everything. I trust you wholeheartedly.
Yay!
As far as I'm concerned, you can do no wrong. I'm like, if you want to do something, I'm like, have at it.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I know I hit like yes, I'm attending to like when you sent out the invite, but I didn't check the page, so now I'm gonna have to go check it out because I told you I don't check Goodreads enough. We're like, we're gonna come right back around to the beginning of our conversation. Like, I don't check Goodreads enough. Now I need to go check it.
I'm gonna see if I can get a link to that so people can you don't have to hunt for it. I'll just link it so you can just click on it if my computer would work. Does anybody have any other things they want to talk about, like other Scottish heroes that they've read or whatever romance you've been reading that you really like? What you want our next live stream to be about? Whatever you guys want.
There's a lot to type in the comment section. Like if there's a Scottish hero you thought we were going to mention that we didn't, that you want to shine a light upon. If there's a romance novel you just read and you're going, hey, fellow romance readers, you should be reading this. I want comments.
We want to know about it.
I was going to say, yes, we do need to post another poll for Twitter. So if you guys do have any future live stream theme night discussion topics. My little cinnamon rolls never win. I've had beta heroes down as 2 or 3 different theme night topics, and my little betas never win. So honestly, I'm gonna be.
You would probably lead that discussion because I'm just trying to think about like, I know I've read beta heroes, and once I do some research, I'll get a few, but I need to read more. So it would be like, Angela, tell me all about the good beta heroes that I need to read.
At The Wedding Date, I did read that one. Now she has a proposal out, and I know There was a big deal being made because Reese Witherspoon made that her first romance genre pick for her book club. So Jasmine Guillory's having a really good year for being a romance writer. She's really kind of hit her stride. She's kind of becoming one of those well-known romance writer names. People are just being like, yeah, Jasmine Guillory. People really, really like her. And I think there's one more book that she's supposed to do. I don't know if it's a trilogy or not, but it's supposed to be The Wedding Date, The Proposal, and then there's one other. Because it all has to do with kind of same. Aw, Night Lady Gizmo. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm behind on the times. I have not read The Wedding Date yet, but everyone says it's super cute. So I do want to read it. It's on the TBR. Good night, Lady Gizmo. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate all the Jamie Love and Outlander recap. You are welcome. We try our best. But yeah, I do need to read that one because I know a lot of people really like it.
That's what it is. The wedding party. Thank you. See, April's coming back. See?
You saw her speak at a bookstore last night. Which bookstore was this? We live in the same state.
I was like very early. I was almost too early for the Jasmine Guillory train because I actually got The Wedding Date as a NetGalley book.
Oh,
and
okay.
So, like I got it. I mean, again, I got it before it was even officially published. So it was kind of, it was. I felt as if I kind of wish I might have gotten it later almost because it was kind of in the midst of all the other books I was reading at the time. It was kind of just thrown into like, oh, I'm reading one book after another, and so then I feel like I need to go back and reread it. I haven't read The Proposal yet though. I know all about it because everyone's been talking about it. Everyone's talking about it because I get the Google notifications every time I have all the different keywords, and she's always doing interviews and stuff. So she's talked about her inspiration for it, of how, public proposals and this and that. So apparently our heroine is getting proposed to at a baseball game or something on the big screen, and she doesn't want that. So she runs away, and the hero apparently helps her escape. And I haven't read this book, but I know all about it.
That's so funny. Sydney is saying, Angela, Gone Too Deep by Katie Ruggles has such a great beta hero, and I love him so much. It's also a romantic suspense. Ooh.
I have not read this. Now I need to. I love beta heroes. They're so cute.
I think we might have a topic for our next live stream. Romantic suspense. We haven't talked about that.
We haven't. We haven't done that one.
We haven't done that one? Huh?
I'm like, there's a few we haven't talked about. I mean, there's
Beta
so many.
Being one. Beta heroes, romantic suspense. There's some tropes, marriage of convenience tropes. That's a whole thing.
I think that was what I just did tonight.
That's so true.
Forced into marriage. Let's have that discussion. People are going to be going, what is their live stream about? The people are going to be so confused. We're going to have people tuning in. I mean, going, do we need to call the police on y'all? What is going on?
Do we need to call the police?
I think, depending on how we word that title, it'll be a very interesting discussion.
Right, how I word it. Marriage of convenience.
People are going to be going, what?
Fake boyfriend, girlfriend, fake fiance. That's a thing.
Oh, yeah. I love those. When you're going home or you have a reunion and you want someone there to be comfort. Yeah. I love those books. Those are so cute.
All right. Romantic suspense. Fake boyfriend, girlfriend / fiance.
Okay, I'm writing these down. Or better yet, why am I writing it down? I'm just going to start the poll.
You're just going to start the poll.
I was going pen ready. I'm like, why am I doing that? Okay. So we got romantic suspense.
Romantic suspense. We got.
Or do you want to do marriage of convenience? Do you want to do that?
Let's do the fake fiance or fake boyfriend.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Fiance. There are a lot of them. I love those. I love how autocorrect it when I do the little sign above the E.
Oh yeah, the fiance. Romantic suspense. Fake fiance.
I mean, I might as well at this point just give up on beta heroes and give the option.
Put it in there. We're gonna just have beta heroes as a poll option until it wins.
I'd be beta hero. Like, okay, we're going to talk about beta heroes.
It's like beta heroes. Pick it.
Is there a little cinnamon roll emoji?
I don't know.
I don't know. We need to figure that out.
Great.
Because I was gonna put the beta heroes into like a little cinnamon roll after it. Because I feel as if we could do a hybrid discussion of beta heroes and cinnamon rolls.
We could do that. Cinnamon rolls, and we can have just an epic discussion of Archer Hale.
He's my husband, in case you guys didn't know. Throwing that out there, by the way. In case you guys, he's my guy. In case you want him, he's mine. I'm like, he's my. I'm like, I love him so much. I love that guy. And so, okay, romantic suspense, fake fiance, boyfriend, beta heroes / cinnamon roll. Anything else?
I don't think there's a cinnamon roll one. There's a donut. There's a pie, a cookie. I'm not seeing cinnamon roll.
No, I had to type it in.
Dang it. There's pancakes. Now I want pancakes.
Apparently there aren't enough cinnamon roll heroes to warrant a cinnamon roll emoji.
Cinnamon roll emoji. Well. What other? We need one more. One more. Anybody have any ideas in the comments? Type away.
Is there something you are dying to talk about?
Huh.
I mean, I feel as if there's so many because we've talked about quite a few things, but there's always more.
There is always more.
Hi, April.
Ooh, oh yeah, she's leaving work. Bye. Drive safe home. See you next time.
We haven't done fantasy, have we? We've done paranormal or like shifters. I know we did sci-fi. I don't think we've done. I don't know. We haven't done fantasy.
I don't think we've done fantasy either. Haven't done fantasy.
I mean,
we haven't done westerns.
They're all the tropes. I mean,
huh?
They're the tropes. I mean, there's
a ton of tropes.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the there's insta-love trope. There's
opposites to lovers, opposites attract, ugly duckling, forbidden love, fish out of water, military. Okay, we got so many options here. Someone better come and tell us what to do.
Right? I know. It's like, just Google it. Google. Yeah. There's so many tropes. Man, so many tropes.
First love. Oh, I love first love. That is my catnip. First love stories. That's my fave.
Let's make that number 4. First love. I think we got our 4 options. So it's romantic suspense, beta heroes, fake fiance, and first love. Got it.
Those are that is probably my go-to first love stories. They're so sweet.
So sweet, right?
And then I come with a list of 20 books. You're like, okay, this is only going to be a 2-hour. We're going to cap it.
We're just going to let Angela talk.
You're like, and then I read this book by Laura Miracle. It was called The Infinite Woman of Oz. And then I read this book by Sarah Dessen. And then I read this book over here by this person. I'm just going to keep going.
Keep going and going and going.
And then, so FYI, so in case people are still watching, so Indigo is our next book club choice. And then what movie won for, I forget. I should know
Kate and Leopold.
It did win. Okay.
Yes. Cindy is saying hate to love. That's, I love that trope. Hate to love. I do. Yeah. Next time. But yeah,
I would have quicker. I would have made that the next option.
I would have made it.
I would have done that for you. I would have done that.
Yeah. So next book is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. Super excited to read that one. And then the movie is Kate and Leopold. I think that was actually. I'm trying to think if that was the first movie I saw Hugh Jackman in. Or the one that I realized he had an accent. I mean, it's not his real accent. I know he has he's Australian, but yeah, that movie is great. I love it. And also time travel. It's great.
My favorite thing about that movie is the elevators. Like, that's so stupid, but I love the elevator situation. I just think that's just so different, and it was just so random. I just love it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I haven't watched that movie in such a long time. It will be great to do a rewatch. I love that.
Oh, I'm so excited for that one. I voted for it.
Nice.
I thought it won because I think that when I saw it, I remember it was really it was ahead. It was almost the end of the poll, and then I forgot to go back and check to make sure it won.
It did. It did win. Yeah, and then Wedding Planner was the other two tied at 30%. Kate and Leopold was ahead at 40%. So I love it.
Yeah, we should choose our next theme night discussions. Hate to love. I was like, we might as well write them down now.
Right. Hate to love. Give us another 3 topics. Go.
Well, we'll make it. We'll dedicate it to you.
Sydney, yes. Throw some more tropes out there.
I know. There's a whole list over here. There's billionaire, millionaire. I love how that's like they have a slash because no, millionaire is not good enough. He has to be a billionaire. The CEO. Oh, we have secret romance. We have soulmates. We have friends to lovers. We have reunited. I love how there's a second chance love story, and then they have reunited lovers down there. I'm like, what is the difference?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if it's like they're separated.
Amnesia, that could work too. Reunited with the amnesia person because that could fit. Okay, I'm just looking down the list.
Sydney is saying I accidentally voted for fake fiance, not beta, and I'm so upset. Oh no!
I forgive you.
I forgive you.
I forgive you. It's okay. I'm probably gonna end up voting for First Loves because I love that is one of my I don't know. I can't explain it. I think everyone has their thing.
We'll keep putting beta until it wins.
We should. I mean, I would never do this as a real thing, but I just think it'd be so funny if I was like, and should our next theme night discussion be beta heroes, beta heroes, beta heroes, or beta heroes?
If it gets to, let's just say, if it gets to like June and Beta Heroes still hasn't won, just do it. We'll just do it. Make an executive decision. We're doing Beta Heroes.
I mean, I honestly think it would be really, this is just me being me. I think it would be really funny if you did like 3 beta hero options, 1 alphas, and then have alpha win, because I think that's where we're at with beta heroes. I think alphas will always win over betas.
Oh no.
I honestly think I could put betas as like the first 3 options, have alpha at the bottom, and alpha would still win.
3 beta options. I don't think maybe if you put all
I would never do that though. Like I would know. I give people options. I would never do that. I'm just talking about thinking out loud. It was so funny too because the other day I forget what book it was, but I was on Goodreads and someone was complaining in the comment section that the hero he was too Cinnamon like. She's like he's not alpha enough, and I'm going, when beta heroes have no chance. They're never gonna.
Dang it.
Like, I love you. So, we have a lot going on. And then next month, you're on your cruise, right?
Yes. So, everything is pushed back a week because the first week of March, I will be in the Caribbean. So, the Indigo discussion is going to be on the 12th. The movie night is going to be on the 19th. And the We're Picking night is going to be on the 26th. So, we're moving everything back a week. Yeah, the 1st through the 10th or the 9th, I will be on a cruise, and I'm super excited about it. It's my first cruise ever. It's mine and my husband's 10-year anniversary. I love him so much.
Aww, you're living your happily ever after. So cute.
I am. Yeah. So we decided 10 years. It's the big one. I mean, there's bigger later, but I was like, let's do it. Let's go all out.
It counts.
Yeah, right. So I'm really excited to be doing that, and I will post obviously a bunch of pictures. So I will let you guys know about that. But reception's probably going to be shoddy. Best friend's brother. Oh my gosh, love it. Yes,
I love those. I love
best friend's brother. Yes.
And because the thing is too, like I feel as if people lump those in with also like best friend's father. Like it gets lumped in like a very weird category, but it's totally different. I read one, Allison Gaines. She had one like One More Day or something. She had like the best friend's brother, and I think that was one of the ones that like got me into that trope.
Yeah.
I'm writing all these down. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a little poll, put it in the drafts in my Twitter folder over here. It's going into drafts. Next month when I say I'm going to make a poll, it's going to be there.
That's such you're so brilliant. You're so smart.
And I'm going to be like, and dedicated to Sydney.
This month's poll is dedicated to Sydney.
Well, she's not, because even close proximity, the next door neighbors, oh my goodness, that's its own entity right there. The next door neighbors, or like, oh, there was one the other day I read with the apartments where like he was right across the hall or something.
Yeah.
A lot to do with that.
But yeah, best friend's brother, yeah. I'm all over that.
I was gonna say right away, like 3 books came to mind. And I was like, I didn't even like hesitate. I was like, and we got some right there. So I'm down for those. I'm gonna make a little poll, put it in drafts, and again.
We'll be good. We'll be great.
And I'll be on your cruise, and I'll be sitting here and be like, I want to put this on live. I want to make this live.
Oh, Kayla on the Prince. Ooh, fun. Yes, my cruise. Yes, it's gonna be great. I'm already shopping for swimsuits and new dress, and I love that. It's gonna be great.
Aw, and you know what you should do? You should pack a physical book, and then go around and take Instagram bookish pictures and bank them and post them and make me happy.
Yes. Archer's Voice, or that beautiful copy of Pride and Prejudice that you posted. Yes.
I was going to say that book is very, that edition's very close to my heart.
It was so pretty. I was just like, I know Angela's going to love this.
I do. I'm like obsessed with it. It's at the top. Like it's again, I have multiple bookcases. Like I'm looking at 3 right now. It's at the top and it's got the little, like it's facing out. It's my focal point.
I have so many editions of Pride and Prejudice. My husband probably hates me.
But he's taking on a cruise anyway.
Right. He gets to the point where he knows which books I already have, and like when I buy a different edition, he's like, "You already have that book."
That's how
not this edition. Like,
I have so many copies of I have a lot of copies of Pride and Prejudice, but for some reason, Alice in Wonderland, because I don't know if people just want to make these editions where they have the drawings, or they want to make their own drawings in them, or they want to change things up with the covers. There's something about the covers with Alice in Wonderland. I have so many of those, but every single one of them I'm going, I can justify it, and I can't, but I just keep doing it.
It's so easy to justify. So easy. It's like, but this one's so pretty.
Well, because I can tell you how I justify it. So my office, I framed, apparently I'm that person who frames their bookish prints from book boxes. And I also have some Alice in Wonderland things that I had purchased myself. So I have all these framed pictures of Alice in Wonderland quotes and images. And so I'm going, oh, well, I need the books because they go with the pictures that I framed.
Absolutely. I get it.
In my head, it works out even. I don't know. It just does.
Yeah, I found this really pretty edition of Pride and Prejudice. It's in French, and it's just like the cover. It was just like, it's such a beautiful, almost like watercolor, like almost. And I'm just like, oh, it's so gorgeous. It's in French. I'm just like, I can use this to practice my French.
Well, so I went to England when I was, I think, 19. And so I only had 1 suitcase at the time, but I really, really, really wanted to buy the complete Harry Potter collection with the English covers while I was in England. And I didn't end up making it there. And even if I had, I wouldn't have had anywhere to put them because just a school trip, fun. But I was so determined to get a copy, and I didn't. I feel the pain. Like, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't care. Like, I want the multiple editions.
Right? Bookish problems.
only readers understand. Other people will look at you funny, but I understand you entirely. This is why. I'm a person.
Yep. This is why I love you.
I was like, nobody else understands us like we understand each other.
All right, my dear. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Anybody else? Anybody else wants to talk about? Comment away.
I have one more spot for our next month's live stream discussion topic. We have
Hate to Love, best friends, brother, close proximity.
I have one more option. There are 4 options potentially for the poll.
For a poll. Yep.
I just want to throw that out there as our final comment of the night.
Throw that out. Tropes, tropes, tropes.
Tropes, archetypes. I love how it's just not millionaire anymore. I thought that was hysterical. They're like millionaire / billionaire. I mean, millionaire is not good enough. He has to be a billionaire now.
He has to be a billionaire. I won't settle for less.
Like it used to just be the CEO, and now it's CEO millionaire / billionaire. I mean, I just love how millionaire is not enough. Interesting.
We did. Yes, sassy heroine. Opposites attract.
Oh, that's one. We didn't do. Well, that's not on the list. That's a good one.
Yep. Opposites attract. Did we do? We did shifters, but did we do fated mates?
No, I love fated mates though.
Me too.
I'm writing a fated mates love story, so that is my.
Oh my god! I want to read it.
And you know what I realized? He's a beta hero.
Fated mates and a beta hero.
I'm going like really like I'm going subcategory. Apparently, it's gonna be like a readership of 2 people, but I'm gonna be happy that I wrote it, so it's okay.
That's awesome, though. I want to read it.
It's only at like 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 words or something.
Amen. Whoa.
So are we doing opposites attract or fated mates? What do you want to do?
Fated mates.
Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. And I'll put that into drafts. And next time when we go, what are we doing our theme discussion? We'll be like, well, it's all ready to go, and press send.
I just found a list of 145 romance tropes. We have potentially 145 more live stream ideas.
Well, it was so funny because I did the pre-interview questionnaire for my dissertation's on the romance genre fandom, and so the pre-interview questionnaire, I had to do I just did the subgenres because if I started doing the archetypes and tropes, I was going, and this questionnaire is never ending.
Right?
Like there's no end in sight. So because I remember across this list.
I'm gonna send this link to you.
I remember because I made my own list of all the archetypes and tropes, major authors, and everything else. So I came up with my own list, and that's how I started doing I should read these to be well versed before I did my project. So I had the list. It's like this entire notebook of here's the title, here are the books I found, here's this. So I don't know how many books later, but 4 years after deciding this was my dissertation, I don't know how many books it's been, but it's been a lot.
That's amazing.
Hence, we can talk about whatever we want, and I'm there for it.
You're like, I got it in the bag.
Like, I will find a book for you. I can do that.
Right.
I don't like this library.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I'm impressed. You are impressive, girl.
It's so funny because I'm like, I know nothing about football. Like, I couldn't care. Like, I don't know about sports. But I'm like, you asked me about romance genre. That I know. Like, I got my priorities.
Yeah, football. I know more about Quidditch than I do about football.
Yeah. I love Luna Lovegood when she's doing her little, oh, Ginny Weasley, she's so nice. I love that. Like, that would be me. Like, if I was the announcer, I wouldn't be on the field. I'd be rooting for you as your like seeker, and then I would just be like with Luna.
I honestly think I would probably be a beater. I'm not even gonna lie.
I knew you were gonna say that as soon as I knew you were gonna say that.
I'd probably be a beater. I'm just like, get out of the way. Sydney agrees. Fated mates / Insta-love is great.
I like Insta-love. People get really down on Insta-love. I mean, people will really trash it. Yeah. But I honestly don't mind Insta-love.
I don't mind it either.
I really don't. Like, in a lot of cases, I actually really, really like it. I mean, that's probably one of my go-tos, actually. First love, Insta-love. Like, I like that stuff. And then people will get so mad about it.
Right?
If you go on Goodreads, Insta-love, I hate this, 1 star. Going, well, that's not your trope. So don't.
Right. And just because it has an insta-love doesn't mean it's a bad book or like the writing is terrible or, you know, something else, like just because you hate the trope. I mean, yeah, it affects, you know, if you're going in there and you're just like, oh, I don't like this. And it does affect your, like your vision of the book, but it doesn't make it terrible.
I enjoy it. And then people, when they get down on it, I'm like, I like insta-love.
I like insta-love too.
I was like, I like it. Like, party one over here. I'm inviting you two to the party, though, so now it's a party of 3.
Party!
Well, no, seriously, because it was one of the more local chapter RWA meetings, and they were talking. Oh, there was literally a group of women saying how much they didn't like insta-love, and I'm going, I'm just gonna look down at my notebook. It's a word.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're mentioning that, I'm like, yes. But I was happy with our, yes, Max is barking. Like, I was happy with our book choices tonight. I have more I have to go read now.
Right. More reading.
The more the better.
Absolutely.
But that is all I have to say.
That's all for me too. I think we're wrapping it up. We talked about everything that needed to be talked about. All the important stuff. Everything's important. Hope you guys are paying attention.
Thank you so much for joining us. I love our theme night discussions, and I love hanging out with you talking about romance. It really just put a smile on my face. I love it. I look forward to it.
Me too. It's like, honestly, like best night. Best way to spend a Tuesday. I love coming on here.
I feel like we redeemed the Tuesdays, at least for my week. Because Mondays are Mondays. I mean, Mondays are never great. I mean, the Bachelor's on, and the guy still doesn't jump the fence. And then, like, I mean, like, Tuesdays are that blah day usually. And, like, ever since we've been doing this, like, oh, is it Tuesday yet? Is it Tuesday? So I love Tuesdays. It's because of you. It's because of this.
I love it. You're my best friend. I love all of you. Hugs.
It's such a nice, positive space and environment. And it's so great when people just talk about romance and take it seriously. It's so great. Yeah, Max was like, I agree.
I concur. Kayla is saying, yay, fun times. I love it. It's great. And then Cindy saying, one last one. Workplace romance is always good too. Sorry, that's my last one, I swear.
You know what I'll do is I'll do a second draft. I'll do 2, and I'll do one with insta-love because we have Fated Mates as our 4th one. So I'll do insta-love, workplace, then we'll just need 2 more after that. So we're just taking care of all our live stream discussion topics. We should just put you in charge. Like, you're our official manager.
You are the manager of the topics for the polls for the Romantics at Heart. We're picking romance. Voted. Done. Yay.
Welcome to the team.
Welcome to the team. It's official. Yeah, definitely moving along with the Ice Planet Barbarians. I'm going to be, reading more of those.
I just fell into those books because, again, I was trying to read everything by certain, for certain subgenres. And when you get into sci-fi, there's not really a lot of romance sci-fi books, at least not that many that warrant a lot of Goodreads reviews and stuff. So I was doing the list and I came across those. I just fell into them. I was like, and now I'm just going to keep reading. And then she has a spin-off series, and now I'm going to read that. Oh, she has I'm going to read that one. It's right. Like, how many books later I'm still reading her?
It's amazing.
It's like she's an autobuy at this point.
So true. I'm like flying through them. I had to stab because I'm reading my In Real Life Book Club books this week, so I had to stop that. But now I'm going to continue on.
Well, I think I appreciate the fact that they're different. Yes, she has her writing style, she has comedic lines, but all of the characters are different. She doesn't write the same thing over and over again. She doesn't lift her narratives, or yes, it's all the same setting, but the characters all have their own unique voices, their own unique situations, and things that they have to overcome. It's like, if you like her writing style, it kind of transcends from one book to the next to the next. So They're just easy to fall into. because you also don't know what's going to happen in a lot of them. Like, yes, you know, there's happily ever after, but they're on a planet that you don't understand the rules of, and things are always wacky, and there's an animal chasing them that's an alien, and you have no idea what it looks like, but it's dangerous, and now you don't know what he looks like because he's an alien. There's just so much going on.
There's a lot going on. Sydney, see you next time. Yes, I will see you. You have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
We love you, Sydney. You're the best.
You are the best. Thank you for becoming our manager for working Wednesday.
Welcome to the group. Welcome to the team.
Oh, all right, everyone. You have a great night. I love you all so much, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.